Starting pitcher for New Britain. Manager for New Britain. 16, St. Cloud. And now, here's your starting lineup for your Sugarland Skeeters. Leading off with playing second base, number 7, Josh Brents. Batting second, shortstop, number 14, Lane Sawatsky. Batting third and play right field, number 29, Jeremy Barfield. Batting fourth, first baseman, number 16, Travis Scott. Batting fifth and playing third base, number 11, Chris Nelson. Batting sixth, designated hitter number 35, Andy Wilkins. Batting seventh, left fielder number 5, Joe Benson. Batting eighth, center fielder number 21, Anthony Ginsenti. Batting ninth and doing the catching, number 3, Albert Cordero. And your man on the mound, starting pitcher number 28, Jake Hale. And the manager of your Sugarland Skeeters, the right, Gary Gagne. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field the best mascot in the Atlantic League. It is Swatson. Swatson is brought to you by HEB. HEB, here everything's better. Turn your attention to field. This is time for the ceremonial first pitches. The catching honors for us tonight. Skeeters pitcher, Sean Gleason. First up, we have Dakota. Dakota, welcome to Constellation Field. And when you're ready, it is your pitch. We also have some representatives from Campbell Little League. First, please welcome Grant. Grant, welcome to Constellation Field. You're ready to run the fire. Very good job. Next, we've got Mark Hewis. Boy, when you're ready, it's all you. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the El Campo City Council member, Ms. Anissa. That's good. And ladies and gentlemen, for the Texas Tech alum and the U.S. Marine Corps veterans, welcome to Villarreal. Very well done. Gentlemen, let's give it up for all these first missions here this evening. You know, fans, one of the most important things we do here at Constellation U is make sure that you fans have a great time and make as many winners out of you as possible. All right, right now we're going to introduce to you the winner already. Hey, that's the bike guy down there. He is holding a very beautiful plunger courtesy of Aero Plumbing. Now, not only has the man Ryan got himself that fancy looking plumbing tool, he's also going to chance to win $500. Ryan, here's how we're going to do this. All that has to happen is
Welcome to Sugar Land, Texas. We're live from Constellation Field, home of the Atlantic League champion Sugar Land Skeeters are coming with a record of 8-7. They will take on the Bees, who are 4-10. The Skeeters, well, they begin the day tied for first still with the Lancaster Barnstormers in the Freedom Division. The Bees are last in the Liberty Division. The Skeeters will send out Jake Hale, 2-0, and he will face off against Eric Fortuna, who is 0-1. Game number 15 of the season, game number 16 of the season, the Skeeters will have all 140 games here on 1560 AM. Hi, I'm Ira Liebman, joined by Brett Dolan. Andy Humphrey will join us later. And a wild win last night. The Skeeters were down 5-1 at one point, then 5-3 in the eighth when they scored 4 runs to win the final 7-5. 2 home runs by Josh Prince. We'll also hear from him later in the broadcast. And really a big win, Brett. But when you look at these last 3 games, which is now a season-high 3-game winning streak, the Skeeters, well, they won a wild one, 12-11 in Southern Maryland. Then they win 5-1 in the final game of Getaway Day in a rain semi-shortened game, 8.5 innings. And then last night, a long trip. You win by comeback style. What does that little streak in there do for you going into this early part of the season?
Well, I think last night alone was the kickstart for this team because they were playing from behind since the 4th inning. And it looked like a game where they might fall a little bit short. In a matter of just seconds, though, they put 4 runs on the board. They went from working towards the 9th inning to all of a sudden bringing on your closer or getting your bullpen ready to go in case you needed somebody for Paulino. So it was a great turnaround win and really a lot of excitement. It just happened so quickly. It was hard to digest.
And Josh Prince, who had been in a little bit of a slump, had 2 home runs, but one of them a bit controversial. Stan Clyburn got thrown out of the game. We've looked at it. It's very difficult to tell whether it was in or out, but that could have been a big turning point in the game.
Yeah, it sure was. It was one that I don't know if we spent another 10, 15 minutes on the Zapruder film, we'd have a better idea what transpired, but the Skeeters will gladly take the outcome with a Prince home run.
Hopefully Prince is back in full swing. Jeremy Barfield's hot. Skeeters hitters are getting hot. Albert Cordero will be in the lineup for the first time batting. He joined the Skeeters yesterday and came in late in defense after that clutch hit by Travis Scott, which really set up that 4-run 8th in the 7-5 victory. In Game 2 of a 6-game series, the Skeeters lead this one 1-0 as they take the field right now, and the Skeeters would love to wrap up that first half playoff spot. Off to a decent start. The Freedom Division has been about 500 so far through the first 15 games, so maybe the Skeeters can get on a little bit of a roll here on a 10-game homestand. This is game number 2 of that 10-game homestand and get some cushion. Well, the national anthem is ready to get underway, so we will duck out when we come back. The starting lineups and the first pitch. It is time to play ball when we return right here to Constellation Field in a moment.
Will be sung for students from Sundown Elementary. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you would be standing until the colors have left the field. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Welcome back to Constellation Field. We're just about ready to play ball here. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the New Britain Bees. Starting lineup brought to you by MemberSource Credit Union. The starting lineup, checking account, an auto loan, or a home loan. Be sure to check out MemberSource's complete lineup at membersourcecu.org. Leading off is James Skelton. He'll be catching. Michael Kraus bats second. He'll be in center. Batting third is first baseman Jovan Rosa. Craig Maddox, the player coach and DH, will be the cleanup hitter. John Griffin at third bats fifth. In left field, it is Connor Bierfeld. He'll be batting sixth. Batting seventh is Paul Cronenfeld. He'll be in right. Jake McGuigan, last night's hitting star for the New Britain Bees, at second, bats eighth. And batting ninth, shortstop Steve Carrillo.
Defensively for the Skeeters in their outfield left to right, Benson, Jansanti, and Barfield. Third to first around the diamond, it's Nelson, Zawatsky, Prince, and Scott. A little different looking lineup than just a day ago, with a battery of Cordero and the lanky right-hander Jake Hale on the hill.
Oh, Hale, 6'7", 190 from Albany, Ohio. He was drafted 3 different times. Originally by Cleveland, 24th round in 2005, and then twice out of Ohio State. 15 starts for Hale last year, 6-3, a 3.73 ERA. Last time out, 6 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs. They were all earned, 6 strikeouts, just 1 walk, 94 pitches, 69 strikes for Hale. Hale comes in 2-0 with a 2.11 ERA, making his 4th start of the season. Last year in the playoffs in 1 start, 1-0 with a 1.50 ERA. Well, stepping in here is James Skelton, the catcher. Skelton is a very unusual catcher in the fact that he does not weigh much. He is 5'11", just 165. The other unusual things about him is that he has fantastic speed. He steals generally over 20 steals a year. First pitch, a strike on the inside corner fastball to the left-handed hitting catcher. He also has a terrific on-base percentage. Those are 3 things you generally don't see in a catcher, Brad.
Sure do not. He does not fit the mold.
They set up away here, and second pitch is swung and grounded foul back into the left of home. No balls and 2 strikes to count. Skelton also walks a great deal, hence the high on-base percentage. He is currently tied for second in the league in walks with 12. The 0-2 here by Hale. Swan and hit out to left and deep. Going back is Benson. He's going to look up, and this one off the top of the wall, but it's going to be a home run above the yellow line. And just like that, it is 1-0. Not a good 0-2 pitch from Jake Hale. His 3rd home run of the year, 5th RBI, and 1-0 on the first batter of the game here from James Skelton.
That's some oppo pop from not a very big guy, but he got it up over that manual scoreboard off one of those railings, and Joe Harris, umpiring at third tonight, had a pretty good look.
So 1 in, none out. And says Michael Kraus, 220 for Kraus, 2 home runs and 3 RBIs. It's a guy that literally runs into a few. Tied for second in the league in hit by pitches with 3. Open stance from the right side against the right-hander. First pitch, a strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike to count. No wind here today, a rarity in Constellation Field. The flag's limp in right center. The 0-1. This one is low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Take a look at the repertoire of Hale. He features a fastball, a slider, a changer, a cutter, and a sinker. This one swung and fouled back just to the right of us. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Beautiful day for baseball here at Constellation Field in Game 2 of this series. 85 degrees, and the best part, 0 chance of rain. The 1-2. Low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Pretty stark sunshine shadows contrast between the mound and the plate, but then again, it didn't seem to bother Skelton leading off the game.
Did not indeed. The 2-2 from Hale. This one down low. That'll run the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Hale works very quickly. Gets the sign from Cordero. He'll wind and deliver as they set up inside, and this one is swung in, chop foul off of third. Stan Clyburn grabs it at third. We talked about Clyburn's managerial skills and 14 championships, and this is a guy who actually had a 14-year career. And the interesting fact is that he played from age 17 till age 30, and then played one game at age 41 when he was in the Texas-Louisiana League.
Oh, that would affect your eligibility for the Hall of Fame.
Just got into one game. Maybe he wanted to reset his clock.
Yeah, a 41-year-old who hasn't played in 10 years, that would reset your clock, all right.
Again, the payoff pitch here from Hale. He comes home, and this one is swung and drilled into left field again. Benson is going to look up, play this one off the manual scoreboard. Slide into second with a double is Kraus. So Hale, who was ahead of both hitters, allows a home run, then a near home run here for a double.
Well, that ball was tagged pretty well for a split second. The way Benson turned around, I thought it might hit high up off the fence, but maybe a little top spin, and Bees have to settle for a double, but they've come out swinging tonight.
Well, in steps Javon Rosa. Rosa continues his consecutive game streak. I call him the new Cal Ripken of the Atlantic League. Playing in game number 155 here. 155 consecutive games. This one hit sharply down the third base side, foul. Gonna have to look into the Cal Ripken-like streak here in the Atlantic League. For consecutive games. 1-0 here in the top half of the first inning. Different scoreboard operator today. Not on his game, is he? Hale stepped off and looked back, but getting back in plenty of time there was Kraus. Mentioned Kraus was in the World Baseball Classic. Rene Tassoni was on that same Canada team. Guy who really impressed me was Pompey, the outfielder there. That's probably why Kraus was not playing. That's one of the really great things about the World Baseball Classic. You get to see guys you don't get to see, even if you're watching Major League Baseball. Maybe watch more American League games than National League games. This one fouled off to the right side, 1-2.
I know it really jacks up spring training. Certainly, I think we all enjoyed it a little more with the Americans winning. I just wish it wasn't every 4 years. I wish it was like an every other year scenario.
Oh, I agree. It's so much fun to watch.
I mean, you want to see the best players multiple times. You don't want to risk, say a 30-year-old guy not being able to be at his game 4 years from now and play.
The 1-2 swung on, popped up. Shallow right center field. Jansanti calling for it. He'll grab it, quickly fire it back in. Close play at second, and there is one away. First out of the game, a fly up by Rosa. One out, one in, one on. 1-0 Bees here in the top half of the first inning. Greg Maddox steps in, the player coach DH, 288, 2 home runs, and 11 RBIs. The 11 Rippies tied for third in the league. Maddox bats from the left side against the right-hander Hale. See if Jake can escape any other damage here. Swung and chop foul up the first baseline. No balls and 1 strike to count. Shadows just creeping past the plate. Remember, this game is an hour earlier than normal start, so we're going to have a lot of sun for a bit. The infield and outfield won't be covered until another hour from now. Hale again looks at second. Darting back and forth is Kraus. Hale comes home. This one misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. Again, the Bees in front here, 1-0 in the first. Bees were down 1-0 yesterday in the first. And the Skeeters got a double by Prince to lead off the game and a RBI single by Lance Sawatsky. So on a strike, 1 ball and 2 strikes to count here to Maddox. On deck is John Griffin. Hale from the stretch. He will look at second and fire home. This one is inside. Fastball misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Skeeters will play this game and 4 more against the Bees, and then the Barnstormers for the final 4 games of this 10-game homestand. This one fouled off to the left side. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's where you start to watch the body language of Hale. He's taken a long time to climb up on the hill. Angry when he got the ball back from Cordero. Either he felt like he made a pretty good pitch and didn't get a verdict, or he knew that he continued to kind of fight it here in the first.
The 2-2 here from Hale. Swanee chops slowly to the right side. Prince to his left. Will fire it to first. 4-3 on the putout. And there's 2 down. Going down to third is Kraus. And now Hale has a chance to get out of this with just the 1 run, scoring on the home run lit up the game by James Skelton. The 6'6" John Griffin will go against the 6'7" right-hander Jake Hale. Hale scored 1,000 points in his high school basketball career as a point guard, nonetheless.
Come on.
6'7" point guard.
Magic Johnson?
I'm saying. Maybe these 2 guys should just step to the right and go at it one-on-one.
Box each other out, get the rebound.
They set up inside here on Griffin. This one swung and hit sharply to left center field, but right there is Jansanti, and he'll squeeze it for the final out. So it could have been much worse after the leadoff run, home run by James Skelton, then the double by Kraus, but Hale gets the next 3 in order. New Britain 1, Skeeters coming to bat for the first time when we return. We move to the bottom of the first. Skeeters are trailing 1-0. Time to take a look at the starting lineup for your Sugarland Skeeters. Starting lineup brought to you by MemberSource Credit Union. Whether it's a Skeeters checking account, an auto loan, or a home loan, be sure to check out MemberSource's complete lineup at membersourcecu.org. Leading off, last night's hero Josh Prince, 2 home runs. He'll be at second tonight. Lance Sawatsky bats second. He'll be at short. In right, Jeremy Barfield bats third. The cleanup hitter and first baseman Travis Scott. At third, Chris Nelson bats fifth. Batting sixth, Andy Wilkins, the designated hitter. Joe Benson in left bats seventh. Batting eighth is center fielder Anthony Jansanti. And batting ninth, welcome back, Albert Cordero. He'll be behind the dish.
Defensively for the Bees, Bierfeld, Kraus, and Cronenfeld left to right in the outfield. It's Griffin, Carrillo, McQuigg, and Rosa around the diamond third to first, and Skelton catching Eric Fornatero.
Josh Prince steps in, 270 now, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, and he had this to say about last night's win.
No, it just shows you a lot about this team and the group of guys that are here. Down by quite a couple runs, and just never giving up. Travis coming in late in the game with a pinch hit, single up the middle there, score a run, and then we ended up scoring 2 there. Just there's the resilience that we have in this group of guys. It's something special, I think, and it just shows us that no matter what the score is, we're never down and out.
Prince grounds out. 5-3 on the putout, 1 down, none on for Lance Sawatsky. 214, 2 home runs, and 4 RBIs for Lance.
Had you told him you were going to play that audio, he probably would have allowed you to. He would have taken a pitch to help you out. You didn't run it by him first.
No, that's my bad. This one, Swan hit high in the air to right field. Cronin fell back. He has a beat on it, and he'll come in a step, bring it down for the second out. So 2 outs, not out for Jeremy Barfield. Barfield comes in with a .390 average, good for 3rd in the league. 1st in the league in home runs with 5, and tied for 4th in RBIs with 10. Barfield is also 1st in on-base percentage, slugging percentage, runs, hits, and total bases. What a start he's gotten off to. That's a way to defend your Atlantic League Player of the Year award. First pitch to Barfield. This one is a strike at the knees. No balls and 1 strike to count. Lost in last night's win. Barfield went 2 for 4 with 2 singles. This one swung and missed. So no balls and 2 strikes to count here on Barfield. Fornatero gets a sign from his catcher, James Skelton. The 0-2 to Barfield. This one in the dirt as the catcher, Skelton, shuffles to his right into his knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count.
Fornatero would like to get off to a good start. Every pitcher does, but he's only had 2 starts. Both times he's gone 4 innings, and he's given them 3 and 5 runs. So 8 runs in 8 innings. You don't even need the calculator. Figure up that earned run average.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the 1st. The Bees leading the Skeeters in the Battle of the Buzz, 1-0. Check swing, did he go? The appeal, he did not. Oh, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fornatero, a Houston native, although he graduated from Mills E. Godwin High School in Virginia. Drafted by the Cardinals in the 6th round in 2008. Pitched in 8 games at the big league level with the Cards. Fornatero takes a look in. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Skeeters trailing a 1-0. The pitch swung and missed, strike 3. Barfield flips the bat away. Then just mad he chased the pitch. That'll do it. A ground out, a fly, and a strikeout. Skeeters go 1-2-3 here in the 1st through 1 inning. It is still the Bees in front, 1-0.
On the entire showroom. Get all the details at TexasMattressLinkers.com. And leading off the line, Brent left fielder number 28. Here's Bill.
We move to the top of the 2nd inning. It'll be Connor Bierfeld, Paul Cronenfeld, and Jake McGuigan, 6, 7, and 8 in the Bees order. Bierfeld, 235, now 4 home runs and 8 RBIs after he hit a pair last night. McGuigan hit a pair last night. Bierfeld, an RBI, went 0 for 3. Bierfeld having a good season, though. This one is outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Bierfeld, 3rd in the league in slugging at .549. Total bases, 5th with 28. And he is tied for third with 7 extra base hits, 2 balls and a strike here. And his big bugaboo has been strikeouts. He has struck out 17 times this season over the first 15 games. That's third in the league. Chop third, and a diving play by Chris Nelson from one knee to first. They won't get him, but what a play by Nelson. Nelson dove behind the third base bag and into foul territory. And now Stan Kleiber, nice sportsmanship there, will help him up. Then he threw from one knee from the foul side of third, but at that time, scampering all the way down the line was Bierfeld.
It's like a tight end in the corner of the end zone trying to catch a touchdown pass. The only problem was Nelson had to try and get up and make the throw. You don't have to do that in football. Good effort, though.
Well, in steps Paul Cronenfeld, a right fielder, bats from the left side, comes in 250, no home runs and no RBIs. First pitch here is swung and missed. Strike one, 0-1 the count. Cronenfeld has played in just 5 games as a starter, 9 overall, and he is 5 for 20 to start the season. Hale takes a peek over his left shoulder at Bierfeld. Pitch here to Cronenfeld. 1 ball and 1 strike now. So many Felds.
I feel like it's a fictional kids book where you'd say, let's make up some names. Bierfeld, Cronenfeld, and let me give me an Irish guy, McGuigan.
What kind of story is it?
I don't know. But you wanted just to make up a couple of baseball names. You're like, all right, let's just go off the grid a little bit. That's what you'd come up with.
1 ball and 1 strike the count here. Is there a gingerbread house involved?
Could be.
This one swung and fouled into the net. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Cronenfeld comes in 2 for his last 12 over his last 5 games. A former 25th round pick of the Reds in 2014. The 1-2 coming here from Hale. He will peek at first and come home, and this one is sliced down the left side, foul. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Last year, Cronenfeld with Schaumburg in the Frontier League, 279, 10 home runs, 49 RBIs.
I thought they used to be the Schaumburg Flyers. Why does it say Schaumburg Boomers? Did they change names?
I believe they did. This one right down the middle. What a great off-speed pitch by Hale. Froze Cronenfeld, and he will go back to his gingerbread house.
It's fiction. We can do whatever we want with our little story.
So 1 out and 1 on for Jake McGuigan. What a big night he had last night. McGuigan with 2 home runs, driving in 3 runs, scoring 2 in the 7-5 loss. But he only had 4 home runs last year, had half the output in 1 game last night, and that's the only 4 home runs of his career. 1-0 the Bees in front here in the top of the second. Shadows now making their way towards the mound. First base is in the shade now. Travis Scott holding him on. Scott with a big pinch hit last night to that big 4-run inning. The 2-0 here from Hale. This one is a little bit outside. 3 balls and no strikes to count. One thing about Hale, he's extremely accurate. Generally does not walk too many. Walked a few more than normal in his last start. Hale from the stretch. Looks like they're going to set up a way here. And the throw to first. Got him!
Oh.
That is the 2nd game in a row Jake Hale has picked off a runner. And for a 6'7" right-hander, what a move he has.
Bierfeld was angry because Brad Parker at first threw the left hand safe and the right hand out. But, a couple of pitches earlier, I felt like if he had thrown to first and given him a good move and a low throw, it was going to be an out, but he threw it head high. Then when he put on the base and got the call.
So now 2 out, none on, and the 3-0. This one a strike, off-speed pitch. Flutters over the outside corner. 3 balls and 1 strike to count. The 3-1 here to McGuigan. Swung and fouled back. That went into the net in front of us. That'll put the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes to count. Well, here's the answer to your question, as our own Andy Humphrey dug it up. The 3-1 swung and hit out to right center field. To get to the Schomburg story later as Barfield brings it down for the final out. So an unconventional 3-up, 3-down inning with the single pickoff, strikeout, and flyout. Middle of the second, it is still the Bees in front of the Skeeters, 1-0. The second inning, Skeeters are down 1-0. Now we'll try to rectify that here in the bottom of the second. It'll be the meat of the order, 4, 5, and 6. Travis Scott, Chris Nelson, and Andy Wilkins. And I see James Skilton acting like a goalie that went through the 5-hole there.
There's 2 in a row. He's missed fire. They've gone to the screen, and each of them had to smile in the battery at that last one.
We found out the answer. Andy Humphrey dug it out for you. The Schomburg Flyers of the Northern League were evicted for not paying $1 million in back rent.
Shame on them.
Replaced by the Boomers in 2012.
I mean, are they owned by Chris Berman or Boomer Scott or someone named Boomer?
No. No, they're not.
I thought Ron Santo at one point was involved with that Schomburg team.
Well, the Boomers nickname comes from a common nickname for males of the greater prairie chicken species. Bird was once abundant in the Midwest, but is now a vulnerable species, almost like the dodo, as this one is hit through the right side by Scott.
Almost sorry I asked.
That's what you get for
I
asking.
thought you should just let my curiosity die. Instead, I had to ask why, and unfortunately I found out. Travis Scott saves us from all this madness.
I always remember that line from Spaceballs. Colonel Sanders is in charge, and he says, "What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken?" In steps Chris Nelson, 1-on, out. Skeeters trailing the Bees here. Nelson starting to heat up, 250, 1 home run, and 6 RBIs. Nelson now 8 for his last 20, and even 400. A home run and 2 RBIs over his last 5. That's one fouled at the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. The Bees 1 run on 3 hits. Skeeters no runs on 1. Travis Scott with the first hit down at first. The right-hander deals this one way inside as the right-hander hitting Nelson had to spin out of the way of that one. 2 balls and a strike to count. Shadows at the base of the mound now. They get a setup away here on Nelson. Big looping curveball catches the outside corner for a strike, 2-2.
He snapped in a couple of those tonight. Still trying to get that sharper break, but it's had the desired effect of having hitters take because it's coming so much slower than his fastball.
Fornataro is ready. They set up a way again here, and this one is swung and looped into right center field. The leaping second baseman McGuigan can't catch it, and the Skeeters in business here, first and second, and nobody out. You couldn't have thrown a ball on a loop better than that. Andy Wilkins will step in. Andy 231 with a home run and 6 RBIs. Wilkins, the left-hand hitting DH, will step in here against the right-hander Fornataro. The Skeeters can make the most of this opportunity here. In steps Wilkins. You couldn't ask for a better day for baseball. This one way inside. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Any Little League games today? I mean, not for yourself, but for your son?
Well, there were several softball games, but they were in Galveston, so I didn't make it.
The 1-0. This one is high 2-0. Does your daughter have skills too?
She's a lot like her brother. They're same type of player. So minus the left-handed hitting versus right-handed hitting, so I can keep the same coaching philosophy. Hit it and run fast.
Thank goodness it skips a generation. This one is high. That'll run the count to 3-0. Wilkins with parts of 2 seasons in the big leagues. White Sox in 2014 and last year with the Brewers. Last year 26 big league games with Milwaukee. 125, 1 home run, 3 RBIs. Didn't get a home run his first trip to the bigs. It's always good to get that big league dinger. This one could be a dinger. It's crushed to right center field, and this one is going to hang up in right center for Michael Krause. Off the bat, I thought he had it. Oh, he's tough to hit it out here in right center.
Wilkins thought he had it. That was a pretty desired effort just to stare out there and watch it fly, but Krause got back shy of the fence where it bends in a bit near the ice house.
I still thought he had it. I was writing home run on my scorebook. Let him bring in Joe Benson. Benson 214, no home runs, 4 RBIs. Leads the league in triples with a pair. Benson has hit safely in 5 of his last 6 games, but just 6 for 26 during that span, a .230 mark. 1 ball and no strikes to the speedy right-handed hitting left fielder. Benson stands deep in the box. Open stance from the right side against the right-hander Fornataro. This one misses inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Skeeters trailing 1-0 here to the Bees in the bottom of the second, but have first and second with only 1 away. Long look in here by Fornataro. They're going to set up outside, and this one is a strike on the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. Good hit and run count. See if Gary Gaddy flashes anything down there at third.
No. Stop that.
Well, maybe him by not
Scott
flashing any signs. That is the sign. Probably want to double up Benson. The 2-1. This one chopped foul off of third. Nelson runs okay.
Yeah, the guy ahead of him doesn't.
Travis runs pretty well, actually. I mean, he's not going to steal 30 bases in a season, but he's not even catching today, so his legs are fresh. There he is. One run on 3 hits for the Bees, no runs on 2 hits for the Skeeters. 2-2 now the count here on Benson. Fornataro delivers, and this one low and away. He checks his swing, the appeal he does, and now a full count. Another interesting potential hit and run count. Benson 1 foot out of the box, looks down at Gaetti, but Gary not flashing any signs. But it might be a heck of a decoy. The old, if I'm not flashing any signs, it's a hit and run trick. Payoff pitch here to Benson. Swung on and a little looper into shallow right center field. Will it hang up? Krause can't come up with it. And now they're going to have to hustle to stay out of the force out. They cannot as Nelson is forced at second. Krause overran it like he did last night when 2 runs came home.
Not even a base hit for Benson, just a 9-6 fielder's choice.
Scott goes down to third. Nelson forced down at second. Benson on at first, and third, 2 down. In steps Anthony Jansanti. Jansanti 293 with a home run and 5 RBIs. Jansanti last night, 2 for 3, was on base 3 times. 2 doubles, a walk, and a run scored. In steps the right-handed hitting center fielder. Open stance from the right side against the right-handed Eric Fornatero. This one is hit up the middle. Will it get through? A backhander by McGuigan. Does he have a play? No. And the Skeeters tied at 1-1. Great play by McGuigan just to get to that ball. He backhanded it behind second, but couldn't get a throw up.
And he was not going to get Jansanti at first. His only hope was maybe a flip to second base, but just getting there took a lot of effort, let alone kind of a miraculous flip.
Jansanti continues his hot hitting. Brand new ball game at 1-1 here in the bottom of the second as Albert Cordero joins the Skeeters again this season. Cordero just joining the team late, just got here yesterday and got into a game late as a defensive replacement. And this one back off the hands up for Fornatero. It goes to Carrillo to throw to first in time. The old 1-6-3 put out to end it. But the Skeeters get 1 run on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base through 2. It is now 1-1.
Hey, Whataburger, Texas institution, just like you like it. Thanks for beginning at the end of the 6th inning.
We move to the top half of the 3rd inning. Jake Hale has a brand new ball game, tied at 1-1. Got some great promotions coming in on this homestand, and one of the better ones is the Molly Ringwalds here on May 13th for a post-game concert. Come watch your Skeeters play the Barnstormers and stick around for a performance from the award-winning 80s dance band Don't Miss the Molly Ringwalds on Saturday, May 13th here at Constellation Field. For tickets, call 281-240-HITS or go online 24 hours, 7 days a week at SugarlandSkeeters.com. Well, the first pitch here by Jake Hale. Scoring to bunt here is the number 9 hitter Steve Carrillo. Pulls it back, however, for a strike, 0-1. The shortstop comes in batting 192, no home runs, and 2 RBIs. Carrillo, 0 for his last 11. Swung and missed, 0-2 the count. Undrafted from Cal State, Dominguez Hills. Made his pro debut in 2010 with Grand Prairie in the American Association. Was also here last year with the Bees. This one low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Last year with New Britain at 246 with 3 home runs and 25 RBIs in 79 games. Also played a little bit in the Mexican League last year. The 1-2. This is outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Hale winds and deals the 1-2 here to Steve Carrillo. This one on the outside corner, strike 3, as Carrillo goes down, second K of the day, and there's one away.
And you see Hale starting to settle into a rhythm after he gave up a homer and a double off the fence to start the game.
Back to the top of the order now with James Skelton, who started this game off with a leadoff home run, his 3rd of the season. In steps the left-handed hitting catcher. First pitch is just off the outside corner. 1 ball and no strikes as he showed bunts. The 1-0 by Hale. This one a strike on the inside corner. A 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1-1 your score here in the top half of the 3rd inning. This one, a fastball just misses off the inside corner. Didn't miss by much. Skelton, a former 14th round pick of the Tigers out of West Covina High School in California. This one foul tipped at the plate, and that one got a piece of home plate umpire Reggie Liggins. Last year for the Bees, a good year for Skelton. 266, 10 home runs, 40 RBIs, and a .399 on base percentage. Walked 91 times. It is not easy to do in 113 games.
No, it's not, and 12 already this year, so he's on a similar pace.
It was with Somerset in 2015. Split 2014 between the Barnstormers and the Blue Crabs. 2013 was also at Somerset. That's where he started his Atlantic League career. Spent time in the Detroit Diamondbacks, Pittsburgh Reds, and Nationals organizations. Check swing, but on the outside corner, strike 3. Rung up by Reggie Liggins. And now Hale getting into a rhythm. As Brett mentioned, he has struck out 3 of the last 4 batters, including the first 2 here in the 3rd. So 2 outs, none on, and steps Michael Krause, who followed Skelton's home run to lead off the game with a double. He's 1 for 1. All 3 strikeouts looking by Hale. They set up inside here on Krause. This one is slammed deep to left field, and this one is not going to come back. That is a home run, and it is again a 1-run lead for New Britain, 2-1.
I don't know if he started him with a first pitch changeup or not, but that ball went a long ways over the backside of the awning in left field.
3rd home run of the year for Krause, RBI number 4. Now he's halfway to the cycle with a double and a home run. The top part of this order has not been friendly to Hale. 2 home runs, they're 3 for 4. The rest of the order is just 1 for 7. So 2-1 your score here. This one is low and away. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Javon Rosa came in at 250, no home runs, 2 RBIs, and he swings and misses here, 1-1. He's 0 for 1, flew out to center his first time up. The 1-1 here from Hale. This one swung on, little blooper over the head of Josh Prince at second and into center for a base hit. So Hale, who got off to a great start, struck at the first 2, then the home run to Krause, a single hit to Rosa. That'll bring in the cleanup hitter, Craig Maddox, the designated hitter.
Osa was able to wait back on that pitch, just get enough to float it out towards right center for a hit.
Maddox grounded out to second his first time up. He's 0 for 1. What have you seen, Brett, that Hill has done wrong when he's allowed those 2 big flies? Was it location, or is it just one hit to the right of second? Prince grabs it. He throws it to second. They got him. What a play by Prince. That was a slow worm burner. He grabbed it, and he ran past second, slowed down just enough to flip it back to Zawadzki covering at second for a inning-ending fielder's choice. He'll go down 4-6. But another run by the Bees on the home run by Kraus, and in the middle of the third, it is 2-1 Skeeters. Let's do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would ask that those men and women who have or are currently serving our nation in the branches of the military and the Coast Guard, you would please stand at this time and be recognized and thank you for your service of this great nation. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And leading off for your Sugarland Skeeters, second baseman number 7, Josh Prince.
We move to the bottom of the third inning. It'll be the top of the order for the Skeeters. They're trailing 2-1 now. It'll be Prince, Zawadzki, and Jeremy Barfield. Prince grounded out the third his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Prince came in 273 home runs and 8 RBIs with his 2 long balls last night. First pitch high and outside. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Prince fine-tuning that new batting stance. Added a leg kick to give him more power, and certainly saw it last night. This one swung and hit out to center field, but playable. Kraus in right center comes in for the first out of the inning.
Leg kick does look different, though.
In steps Lance Zawadzki, who flew out to right his first time up. 214 for Lance, 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. Nice to have a Major League double play combination. So bat 1 and 2 in the order. Zawadzki, the left-hand hitting shortstop, steps in here. First pitch is a little bit low and in. 1 ball and no strikes. I think a lot of that veteran presence last year, especially down the stretch when they went on that 10-0 run, really helped them to that championship. This one way inside, almost hit Zawadzki. 1 ball and no strikes.
Having the best hitter in the league in the middle of your lineup never hurts either.
No, it doesn't. And Barfield, who was mostly the cleanup hitter last year, has been the number 3 hitter this year, and really the 3-hole reserve for your best overall hitter, and he's certainly been that. Grounded to short, and Zawadzki grounds to his counterpart. 6-3 on the putout, and there's 2 down. So 2 outs, none on for the aforementioned Jeremy Barfield. Barfield, the lone strikeout of Eric Fornatero. Came in 395 home runs and 10 RBIs for Jeremy. Barfield, originally drafted by the Mets, decided to go to local San Jack. And 2 years later, He was drafted again. Kind of a half swing, but he clearly went through there. No balls and 1 strike to count. He was drafted by the A's in the 8th round of 2008 from San Jacinto. Only a difference of 1 round, drafted in the 9th round by the Mets and then drafted in the 8th round by the A's. The 0-1. This one is a strike near the knees. 0-2 here on Barfield. 2 outs, none on. Bottom of the 3rd is a 2-1 Bees lead. Barfield, that 6'5" frame, open stance from the right side. They set up way outside. Swan in, chop foul. Barfield with that long reach. If Kevin McHale played baseball, how would you ever strike him out on the outside corner? Went to the Basketball Hall of Fame. His wingspan is 6 feet across.
Yeah, you'd hope that swing would be long and loopy, wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably. Might be a hole or two in that swing. They're going to set up outside again. Again, the 0-2. This one, Swan hit into right center field. That's going to split the gap. Let's see if Barfield will try for second. He will not, as Krause cut it off quickly. A 2-out single, and that'll bring in Travis Scott.
I have no idea why you'd put an 0-2 pitch in that spot, I think, with a fastball to Barfield.
I think they're going to try to get him to reach further and further outside, and Bonatera probably just missed.
He missed all right.
Scott, one of the hitting stars last night. Big pinch hit off the bench. He's 1 for 1 already in this one. Scored the lone run of the game for Sugar Land, who was trailing 2-1. Perfect day for Scott to hit. There is 0 wind in right center field. Usually blows in. This one grounded to the right side. That will not do him any good, though. A slow roll to the first baseman, Rosa. And that'll do it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on base. A third of the way through. It is the Bees 2 and the Skeeters 1. We move to the top of the 4th inning. Skeeters are trailing 2-1, and to take you through the next few and to keep this one rolling, it's Brett Dolan. Brett?
Do our best. John Griffin will lead off. He'll be followed by Bierfeld and Cronenfeld here in the 4th inning against Jake Hale, trying to get his 3rd win of the season. Skeeters got back above the 500 mark last night with that come-from-behind effort. 8-7 on the year, first place tie with Lancaster in the Freedom Division, and the first pitch is lifted back and out of play to the right for strike 1. Griffin flied out to center, his only time in. Shadows have advanced out towards second base. The shortstop Zawansky still stands in sunshine, as do the outfielders. As Hale's pitch misses a little bit low, but at least the hitter probably has a better view. Although that batter's eye still a bright tarp out there above the center field fence below that giant scoreboard. Hale works from the far first base side of the rubber. The lanky righty bounces that glove below his belt and pitches. Bounces one away from Cordero. Andy Cordero joined the team yesterday and thrown right in there late in the game. You almost get the feeling that you got to see some live pitching behind the plate in addition to on the mound.
Exactly, and he probably needed some time in the bullpen to at least get a little bit familiar with the pitching staff.
Hale spins the breaking ball up there that got Griffin to wave and miss. Is it darted down and away from him? Hale at times tonight has kind of lived and died with his secondary pitches. That was a good breaker to Griffin. Here's the 2-2, and he paints one on that outside corner. First strike, 3 called, and Griffin down looking.
Yeah, just great location from Jake Hale, and it seems that that combination between him and Cordero has worked out pretty well so far in this game.
It's given up a couple of solo home runs. Skelton in the first, Krause in the third inning. Here's Connor Bierfeld. He reached on an infield single in the second. It was a tremendous diving effort by Nelson, the third baseman, that carried him into foul territory. Took quite a blow. He got up, offered to throw, but it was not near in time to get Bierfeld. There's something off speed that cruises in for a strike to the Bees left fielder. 1 out and the base is empty. Hale working with a faster pace. There's big slow bender that brought Bierfeld to his knees on a swing and a miss for strike 2. That change in velocity had Bierfeld confused in multiple ways. And the next pitch on the way is down in the dirt, smothered by Cordero.
Yeah, and Hale probably trying to get him again on that, because if you get him that second time, might as well see if you can get him a third and just bury it in the dirt.
Here's the 1-2. Missed off the corner, down and out. Evens the count of 2-2. Base is empty, 1 out in the 4th inning. Skeeters trailing by a run. Next pitch on the way was one of those cutters or sliders. It's lined to third, and Nelson with a sliding catch to his left. So 2 times today, Bierfeld has hit one at Nelson. One was an infield hit diving to his right. That time was a liner to his left that he was able to snag.
He was able to get pretty good bat speed on that on a breaking ball, and Nelson with a very nice reaction. One to his right in the 2nd inning, and that time to his left in the 4th.
So 2 gone for Cronenfeld. He steps in from the left side. Went down on strikes looking in the 2nd. Hale will paint one on that outside corner for a strike. Hale, that slow wind, the big tight leg kick, and the pitch is caught on a missed. Like the change up that time, and it's 0-2. So getting ahead, pumping strikes now in the next offering, a 2-strike pitch. It's the breaking ball down and in, smothered by Cordero. It has that sweeping movement away from right-handers, this time into the lefty Cronenfeld. Certainly has a couple of different planes on the way towards the plate. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball that was a hanger a bit. It was lifted in the air, shallow left center. 2 outfielders on the run, and Benson and Jansanti will watch it bounce between them. Benson plays it on a hop and tosses it back in. The 2-out single by Cronenfeld keeps this 4th inning alive.
Well, Jansanti's first step was backwards, which is usually what they teach you, but he saw that one late and couldn't get to it in time, and Benson wasn't able to see it in time either.
Thought off the bat it was hit better than it was, and the outfielders did the same thing, but it would have been a tough play to get there for either one. So the Bees have their 6th hit of the game, and it brings up McGuigan with a couple of home runs last night. He flied to right his only time in this evening. Hale from the stretch. Curves one in there for a strike. Hale's 2 starts. He's gone 6 innings both times. Cordero shifts way in. Here's the pitch. It's left out over the plate, hit in the to right field. Barfield drifting from the shadows to the sunshine, but shy of the track, and the left-handed right fielder makes the catch, then flips the ball into the bullpen, and the inning is over. So a single and a man left. We head to the bottom of the 4th. New Britain leads Sugar Land 2-1.
Speaking of birthdays, I'd like to say hello and happy birthday. London, also great, brilliant. Lily, also happy birthday. Thank you for spending your special day with us. To the groups that are in the house, Sundown Elementary Dance was asked. Great job with the pregame performance. And both Little League wins at first the Royal Ashford Softball Association. Roseburg Little League with us here. Also, little junior high, LTC, girls softball 600 games. Cornell alumni with us. First on the swim team. Texas Tech alumni, Katie Chapter, guns up in the house, everybody. Also, hello to the Morgan Star. We see a middle school program in the Anderson Plains game. Westside Church of Christ with us here, along with the Bohemian Home Society. Hey, good with us here tonight. Hey, welcome to the United Selection Field, everybody. Enjoy a beautiful Saturday evening in the ballpark. If you did not grab your ball yet for launch ball, you definitely want to do that. Head over to the launch ball table. $1 gets you a ball. Buy as many balls as you would like. Then right after the game, you're going to get a chance to launch those balls onto the field. Win some great prizes from local area businesses and your Sugar Land Skeeters.
Skeeters trailing 2-1. So we go into the bottom of the 4th inning. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Skeeters baseball. Two runs on 6 hits for the visitors from New Britain. 1 run on 4 hits for the Skeeters, who will send up Nelson, Wilkins, and Benson against Eric Fornatero in the bottom of the 4th inning. Nelson has one of those 4 Skeeters hits when he singled in the 2nd inning. Fornatero has not been a terribly hard thrower. I think the highest velocity I've seen tonight's been at 90. He's lived in the upper 80s on his fastball. His first pitch here is a fastball, bounced towards short, couple of hops, stays down for Carrillo, but he'll make the play and throw out Nelson, and there's 1 gone.
A lot of ground balls for Fornatero as well. I think that's the 6th that he has so far in the game.
His last 3 outs have come on the ground. Here's Wilkins. He hit a ball in the air in the 2nd that off the bat I think Wilkins thought was going to be a 3-run homer. It was caught in front of that ice house area on the track. It still had several feet to go before it got to the fence, but it looked pretty good coming off the bat. First pitch in there for a strike to Wilkins. Had a couple of thoughts for plate umpire Reggie Liggins before he's able to climb back in. Fornatero with a high set. The next pitch is a high fastball to Wilkins, and it's 1-1. Wilkins has got the full lumberjack beard working. We're at a little bit warmer than the upper 70s we have tonight. It might be a little bit uncomfortable here in Sugar Land, but that pitch is high, 2-1. And we've had unseasonably cool weather, really beautiful weather the last couple of days. If you're on the tarp crew, and I'm assuming you will be or are, you picked a good year, because last year was not a good year to be on the tarp crew.
Oh, really?
You know, 100-year floods that happen every couple of years, and all the rain and all the nonsense. That thing was well used. And here we have an entire homestand where hopefully we'll just have nothing but beautiful weather. Here's the next pitch. Spins in for a strike.
I could deal with the 80 degrees for the whole homestand. I'll take that.
It works.
I'll trade that for a few 100-degree games in June and July.
Just wait. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Wilkins. The next pitch, he waits on a breaking ball and he slices one down the left field line up into the seats and on the play. One thing about today, though, if you're a general sports fan, you probably know that Saturday in May, it's the Kentucky Derby, and it's a tradition in sports. I think today was the 143rd running, and Churchill Downs of Louisville. And the horse that won, I think, has a name that would be a pretty good slogan for the Atlantic League. Hear me out on this. I'll wait till the next pitch. I'll build up the drama, so to speak. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch to Wilkins, and he waves and misses at a breaking ball in the dirt. Skelton will tag him out, and there's 2 gone. The winning horse was named Always Dreaming. I think that'd be a decent slogan for the Atlantic League, right? I mean, you're hoping to get that chance again at maybe the major league level. If you're one of those players, you want to keep your career going, you want to win a championship, whatever it is, always dreaming.
Yeah, and I think it's good. A lot of these players that do play here do get that dream fulfilled. And Always Dreaming, of course, had that dream fulfilled of winning the Kentucky Derby.
Indeed. 2 outs for Benson. 0 for 1 tonight. He's got the long hair flowing out of the back of his blue helmet as he takes a pitch in there for a strike from Fornatero.
Probably a better slogan than Patch would be. One of the other horses in the race that had a chance at it.
that might not work so well on a magnet schedule or a pocket schedule. There's a fastball spiked into the dirt, missing to Benson to even the count on 1-1. Skeeters trailing by a run, batting here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Big come from behind effort last night for a 7-5 win. Skeeters trailing by a run this evening. They had 3 hits back in the second. It played at a run, and Benson lost out on a hit when he hit a fly ball to right that dropped. But the Bees got a force play at second base as Fornatero pumps a strike on that outside edge to send the count to 1-2. No wind to speak of right now. Sun out there in left field. In fact, Bierfeld is holding his bare hand in front of his face with his glove down to his side. So he's thinking, please, please, please do not hit it to me for the next 10 minutes. Time was called, and Fornatero really digging a trench. He works from the far third base side of the rubber. Jake Hale works from that other side, so they each have their own ruts. Here's the pitch to Benson, waves and misses at a sweeping breaking ball, and he Ks to end the inning. So both pitchers getting a little bit stronger as this game moves on to the 5th inning. It remains a 2-1 New Britain lead over the Skeeters.
And on behalf of the Sugar Land Skeeters and Constellation Field, we'd like to thank you, the fans, for all of your support. Constellation Field, home to Skeeters, is powered by Constellation Energy. Please make sure you come back next Saturday because we've got a very special post-game concert. Molly and Ringwalds bringing some of the best 80s music to Constellation Field. All a part of our summer concert series on Saturday nights at the ballpark. Of course, that'll be next Saturday, May 13th, 6:05 first pitch against the Lancaster Barnstormers. Tickets are available at TDs. You can ticket office at SugarlandSkeeters.com. Skeeters and Barnstormers followed by Molly and Ringwalds.
This game heads into the top of the 5th inning. Visitors from New Britain, the Bees, lead the Skeeters from Sugar Land 2-1. Jake Hale, who's given up a couple of solo home runs, will face Steve Carrillo, James Skelton, and Michael Krause. 9-1-2. May has not been a good month for the Bees. They're 0-5. Last few games have not been good ones for Carrillo. He's 0 for his last 12. He's hoping he can change his fortune and help his team do the same. Pitch from Hale finishes down and out for a ball. New Britain last year, though, had their way with the Skeeters. Despite being an expansion franchise, they won 13 of the 20 head-to-head games. As Hale misses outside, 2-0. Hale has a very simple windup, a pretty big leg kick, and he fires a pitch that Carrillo waves through and misses. He likes those pants baggy down around his shoes. Doesn't give you a lot to look at as far as the silhouette. He gets Carrillo to wave and miss, and a pitch that was low and inside is now 2-2. I won't say Chris Sale, but you think of Sale from the left side with his body type and posture. A little bit similar to Hale. Next pitch on the way is waved at and missed. So he's behind 2-0, and just like that, strike one, strike two, strike three to Carrillo.
It's pretty good place. Fastballs on the outer edge of the plate that Carrillo couldn't catch up to.
Here's James Skelton. He led off the game with an Oppo home run. Down on strikes in the third on a pitch that he didn't care for, called by Reggie Liggins. So Skelton ready to step in. Leadoff hitting catcher with 3 home runs on the year. The first pitch just as missed off that outside corner. Jansanti in center, shading his eyes with his glove as he bends down and again hopes the ball is not hit in his direction. As Skelton takes a strike. Outfielders don't have the double whammy of sunshine and wind tonight, just sun, but they've got another 15-20 minutes to contend with that. There's a spinner that flips in there, and it missed. A quick appeal to Joe Harris umpiring. A 30 says no swing. Hale has really picked up the tempo. His next pitch is dribbled in front of the plate. That's going to stay fair. Picked up by Cordero on the chalk, and he flips to Scott at first. In plenty of time to get Skelton, and there's 2 outs.
Well, Cordero lucky that little 20-foot ground ball stayed fair. He had to really hustle to make sure it didn't go foul, and it's not an easy play. Skelton has some speed, and you've got to throw around him and make sure you don't try and hit the guy and get it over to first.
Sometimes you're in a hurry, you look up and that runner's right on the chalk, and I've seen that more times than not this year in the big leagues where guys aren't necessarily violating the intent. They're not in that runner's lane either. They're right there on the chalk, and at that last second, if you lean in a little bit, as Krause will take a strike, might be able to see a ball deflected off your shoulder. But Cordero got to that quickly. Krause has a double off the fence and a long home run tonight, and Hale just missed badly on either something off speed or a breaking ball that didn't do much of either. Just hung, but it was up for Krause, and it's 1-1. Krause is now 12 for his last 31 with 3 homers during that stretch as he looks at a strike. Seeing the ball well and getting the results for the Canadian native. His father, Ray, played in the NFL and in the CFL as a running back. Pretty rare to do both. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Bends down and out, a quick appeal. I don't think that was close to a swing, and no, says Brad Parker at first. Well, I tell you what, for a running back, though, that plays in Canada and then you come to the NFL, it's got to be like going from, say, the NFL to the Arena League on the fields. Everything shrinks.
Right.
You have less space.
You do have one more down.
Here's the 2-2, wave and a miss, and Hale just carved up Krause, so he got the better of that outcome. That's 6 Ks for Hale. Again, he continues to get stronger as this game progresses. We're halfway done tonight from Constellation Field. Bees still ahead of the Skeeters 2-1. Skeeters need to get their bats going, trailing by a run, 2-1 to New Britain as this game enters the bottom of the 5th inning here at Constellation Field. It'll be Jansanti, Cordero, and Prince against Eric Fornatero, who came into the game having thrown 8 innings and given up 8 runs. Tonight, just the one tally. Skeeters got that run in the 2nd when this man, Jansanti, had an infield single up the middle. It was a great play by McGuigan to come up with it, but he had no effort to get a force, and Travis Scott scored, and well, that's been it so far for Sugar Land. First pitch of the inning drops in for a strike. Both pitchers for New Britain. The starter, Marcy, last night, a lefty. There's a ball lifted in the air to left field. Chasing Bierfeld back. He's nearing the fence. That ball's up off the manual scoreboard and bouncing back to the infield. Backed up nicely by Krause. He'll play it back in. That's a double from Jansanti, who had a couple of those last night, and another extra base hit this evening.
He's really seeing the ball well, getting a hold of these pitches, and I think they're starting to time up that breaking pitch of Fornatero. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of bullpen action for New Britain in this inning.
Bring up Albert Cordero. Finish my thought. Last night, Marcy, and then tonight, Fornatero. Starters working from the stretch. Now with a runner on, it doesn't matter, but even with the bases empty, they'll keep it pretty simple. It's kind of a unique situation. I'm not sure if they plan on doing that all year long. Here's the pitch to Cordero, and it's a fastball up and out. Cordero had a comebacker that was deflected by Fornatero with his bare hand. Misdirected to Carrillo, but able to get the out at first. Skelton sets up out. The pitch came over the heart of the plate, and Cordero fouled one back over the screen to our left. Leadoff double from Jansanti here in the 5th. Base hit would probably tie the game. Cordero in his 2nd game has just 1 at bat. A little bit of a squat position from the left side. He swings and he taps one off the plate, going foul as Skelton to his left retrieves it on the bounce. Josh Prince waiting on deck. Fornatero not just to a sign from Skelton, and his next pitch to Cordero is softly fouled back to the left. And have a promotion here in Stadium where Cordero fouls off 3 balls in the same sequence. They win a prize from Raging Cage, and so that's why there was so much cheering on just another foul ball from Cordero.
This crowd likes their chicken fingers.
I like the fact that you can cheer kind of the subtler or at times maybe more boring moments of the game, right? You turn something that people are irritated with, the length of an at-bat, and you make it fun. Next pitch is tap foul, and I don't know if you get more chicken fingers with another foul ball or whether it just stops at 3, but Cordero continues to participate in the promotion.
Be a 4-piece meal or a 5-piece meal.
Keep going, right? That would really get the fans on their feet. I don't know if you've seen this at Texas A&M. They have a unique chant in their college games. You know, the ball 6, and however many consecutive balls you get after 4, they start basically on their feet with a tomahawk chop, and they chant. Well, it's pretty intimidating. There's the ball roped to right center field. That's down for a base hit. It'll tie the game. Jansanti will score. The ball's under the glove of Cronenfeld towards the warning track. Cordero will probably be given a double anyhow, and he ties the game at 2.
Yeah, not exactly the same play as we saw last night in the 8th inning with the center fielder overrunning baseball, but a lot of speed from Albert Cordero. Even as a catcher, I think he would have beaten that play out anyway with Jansanti running home.
Cronenfeld had to chase, but the ball did not get all the way to the fence, so Cordero's at 2nd. You know, but they do the chant. If you miss on 5 straight pitches, it's ball 5. You miss again, it's ball 6. And before long, the crowd is on their feet in a full frenzy. They got to 11 balls the other night in the game. Ball 10, ball 11, and then finally a cheer goes up after the opposing pitcher throws a strike. So If Cordero had had the same mastery on the foul balls as Prince swings and fouls one away, he really would have had the fans wired up with another foul ball.
I heard that they got all the way up to ball 12 recently, and then on the very next pitch, the hitter had a grand slam.
Well, that would defeat some of the madness.
Forces you to come in, so you want to stop hearing that just constantly, and then all of a sudden you put it a little too much in the plate, and the guy slams it out.
I think that was a guy by the name of Shoemaker. He went over the right field foul pole for a slam near the train tracks near Bluebell Field. And
yeah, it's one of the rowdiest fan bases in all of college baseball for sure.
Skeeters have tied up the game with a run here in the bottom of the second, or in the bottom of the fifth, the solo run rather, and far from done. There's nobody out. Prince has bounced to third. He's fly to center. Pitch runs in and low and misses from Fornatero. There's no activity right now in the Bees bullpen. Skeeters have a chance with a few more hits, really step on the gas pedal and get some separation from the Bees. Prince had the 2-run homer in the 8th to put the team up for good last night. That spins in and drops for a strike. Prince looked at it up in the zone, but it had some late drop and it fell in for a strike to even the count or send the count to 1-2. 6,040 here tonight, besting the crowd last night by more than 900. Next pitch to Prince. Almost had the same result. It had Prince lunging back out of the way. It almost rolled in there for a strike in the inner half.
I had some real deceptive break on it.
Goodness. That's one of those as Prince. You just are praying that it misses because you're going to look foolish if you jump back out of the way and hear it called a strike. Here's the 2-2. That's a strike right on that outside corner, and Prince down looking for the first out here in the 5th. So I'm guessing back to Cordero, they gave him a single and an E9 on the play. Is that right?
Yep, they sure did. Still gets an RBI on the play, though.
So it brings up Lance Sawatsky with 1 gone after Prince went down looking. Sawatsky's fly to right, he's bounced to short. 2-2 game now here in the bottom of the 5th. New Britain didn't lose any ground last night with the loss. Somerset leading the Liberty Division also lost. Pitch to Sawatsky, stays above the belt and misses. Had Somerset won last night, the Bees would be 6.5 games out of first place already.
Just 14 games in.
That's the part you think of it. Yeah, it's early May. You played a month. No, you haven't. You played half a month, and you don't want to be 6.5 games out of first place. Next pitch to Sawatsky, had a little more late break, and it's in there for a strike to even the count at 1.
Yeah, it becomes really demoralizing, and you see that all the time in the major leagues too. When they get out to a slow start, it can be so tough to try and climb back.
Like the Blue Jays. He hated to say it after 2 weeks, but I mean, they were basically done. It's going to take an historic type of comeback just to be in the race. That pitch, a fastball, spins Sawatsky out of the way as it rode up and in. And the count 2-1.
I could say that for a few teams, the Rangers.
Cordero at second, 1 out, 1 in this inning. Fornatero's next pitch. Lifted in the air to left, hit well, but not deep enough. Drifting back is Bierfeld. He's on the track in front of the carousel area, but he makes the catch and plays it back in on the fly to the third baseman, Griffin. 2 outs.
That ball carried a lot further than I thought it would with no wind out here at Constellation Field, and Bierfeld was able to chase that down, and just in time for Bierfeld because he no longer has that sun in his eyes.
Does help to see it if you're going to catch it. And here's Barfield. Jeremy singled in the 3rd inning on a 0-2 pitch. Went down on strikes in the 1st. So his hit back in the 3rd gives him 24 on the year. He'd like to pick up Cordero. He was in scoring position with no one gone. Fornatero bends one down and off that outside corner for a ball. Barfield fills out that batter's box, open stance. His bat bouncing off his back shoulder. Waits and takes one of those floaters, those spinners from Fornatero. Still not exactly figured out what that is. It both comes in with a huge change in velocity, but also has a little bit of late break.
It's a real interesting, either a slider or a curveball, and it's become pretty effective. You almost got it as a strike call on Josh Prince.
1-1, he comes back with a fastball. Barfield bounces one to the right side. Gliding to his left is McGuigan to scoop it on the outfield grass and then throw out Barfield to end the 5th inning. Skeeters get a run to tie, but they left a man in scoring position. We've played 5, brand new game. Bees and Skeeters tied at 2. Five complete at Constellation Field. Each team 2 runs on 6 hits. Jake Hale will face the heart of the Beast lineup in Rosa, Maddox, and Griffin. Hale give up the home run to Skelton leading off the game. He's given up a long home run to Michael Krause that occurred back in the 3rd. Since that point, he's given up just a couple of singles. He'll face Rosa here. Mentioned Rosa played in every single game last year. He's played in every single game this season for the Bees. Single tonight, he flied out to center. He was drafted originally into the Cubs organization, so when he got to Peoria in the Midwest League, his manager was Ryne Sandberg, Baseball Hall of Famer. It's the first pitch to Rosa, and it's in there for a strike from Hale. Peoria was as high as Rosa would get in affiliated baseball at the A-ball level. Next pitch is way outside low. The oddity about Sandberg at the time was there's a lot of guys with accomplished careers that might get into coaching, but very few want to go to the low levels and manage. Pay their dues, so to speak. There's a high chopper to third. Leaping up is Nelson. Straightens and he throws out Rosa. And he needed some ups to get it out and retire Rosa, 1 gone.
He's having a day over there in the hot corner. He's had many days like this where he's just been able to put leather on everything that comes his way, and that time he went up. He's gone right, he's gone left, and now vertical.
He's done a little bit of everything. There's Craig Maddox, 0 for 2, left-handed batter with an upright open stance, and he takes one outside. Cordero and Hale thought they had the corner and a strike. Instead, it's 1-0. Maddox, the cleanup hitter, has a couple of long balls on the year. Hale pumps one in there. It's fouled back to the screen. Hale was at 75 pitches, completing 5 innings. Retires Rosa to start the 6th. Maddox batted over 300 last year, 306 when he finished the season. Cusin up the third base line, circling it around it is Nelson, throwing on the run to first in time. Travis Scott on the receiving end, and that ball had some funny English on it. Nelson had to circle around it. He was in foul territory when he offered a sidearm throw to first base.
Yeah, not a tough play to read right off the bat there, as he had to readjust himself and saw that it was going much slower up the third base line. But a really nice play to adjust, and then, as you said, throw sidearm while running toward home plate.
So the big John Griffin steps in with the bases empty and 2 outs. And Hale finds that outside corner to his liking to get strike 1. Hale earlier looked like he was about 87, 88 on his fastballs. Gets Cordero to set up outside here, and he misses down and out, 1-1. 6 in a row set down by Hale. No longer trailing, but the game tied at 2 between the Bees and the Skeeters. Hale's next pitch on the way, right on that outside corner for a called strike. John Griffin probably didn't agree, but he's down 1-2. Next one on the way is rolled to the right side. Far off the bag is Travis. He'll backhand. He'll flip to Hale covering. A couple of big strides, and he'll get to the pillow well in front of Griffin. 3 ground ball outs and a perfect top of the 6th inning. 5.5 innings complete. The Bees and the Skeeters still tied at 2. Skeeters haven't led in this game. A chance to do so here at the bottom of the 6th inning. Bees and Skeeters tied at 2. It'll be Travis Scott, Chris Nelson, and Andy Wilkin. We get more than 6,000 fans here tonight, and I saw something coming into the ballpark that I've never seen before at Constellation Field. Quite honestly, a couple of years ago, it wouldn't have been possible. And it just shows you how this area has changed so dramatically in the half a dozen years or so the Skeeters have been here at this ballpark. I'll explain as we go along. Here's Travis Scott. He scored the lone Skeeters run, and he backs out of the way of a pitch that was in and missing for a ball. If you've been to the ballpark, you know there's apartments behind the left center field fence or Constellation Field, but also so much development of the surrounding areas. Next pitch drops down and in, and there's a series of brownstones probably behind the fence in left center, maybe a half mile or 3/4 of a mile as the crow flies. And as I drove in today, there were 2 fans, husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, each had their glove on their hands walking to the game. So pitch is inside and misses to Scott. A couple of years ago, you'd be walking in the middle of a swamp or a parking lot, but now with the development, you could just walk on over, bring your glove with you, and enjoy the evening.
That's what Ira does every day for work.
Yeah, but he doesn't work, and he doesn't have to walk very far. And if he lived over there, he wouldn't be walking, he'd be driving, because that would be too far for him. And speaking of walking, Travis will, as he takes one high for a ball, leading off the 6th inning. He's such a high roller, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get a golf cart deal or something so he can just kind of buzz over from his residence.
Could use the cart that they use to bring in the
That
pitchers.
would be perfect. It would be such a phenomenal idea. Get the license plates personalized. He could take the bullpen cart, much like Jake Taylor, and drive it home at the end of the night. Here's Chris Nelson. He's had a busy day in the field. He has one of the 6 Skeeters hits tonight. He takes a ball from Fornatero. Skeeters scored a run last inning, but they had Cordero at second base and nobody out, and they didn't move him. The top of the lineup up. Now Scott's on to begin the 6th inning. A quick mound visit as James Skelton will be joined by the Beast pitching coach as well.
The right-hander Mike Heppel is getting loose in the New Britain bullpen. Ira would probably call it the Beehive.
He might. Sean Gilblair, the pitching coach for New Britain.
Another player coach.
Well, the batter Nelson with a count of 1-0 after the visit. Nelson's hit 1 home run this year. He's knocked in 6. Pitch inside. It was botched by Skelton. He didn't catch it cleanly. And it's 2-0. A lot of activity out there in the playland tonight. A lot of kids, a lot of adults out in right center at the Ice House. A few fans up on the berm and right as the pitch misses, not by much, to Nelson for ball 3 from Fornatero. They'd enjoy a couple of runs this inning if the Skeeters could kickstart things. A good beginning, a walk to Scott. Now there's a chopper on a 3-0 pitch to Griffin at third. He's going to throw on the run to first. And again, Brad Parker with his left hand started to signal safe, and with his right hand said out. I guess the right hand wins. He's done that twice tonight.
Well, that's real close, and I think what the Skeeters first base coach is talking about to Brad Parker is that he thinks Rosa at first base just took his foot off of first before he had actually caught the ball.
Yeah, it looked like he was jumping out of the way, and it wasn't so much maybe to gain an advantage as it was to maybe avoid a little bit of contact. That's going to do it for Fornatero as Stan Clyburn comes out and has made the call to the bullpen. But once Griffin, first of all, Nelson was swinging away 3-0, but second, once Griffin got to that ball, he took it a couple of extra steps before he let one fly, and it looked like Nelson might just find a way to beat it. We'll step out, pitching change break here in the bottom of the 6th. Skeeters have a man in scoring position with 1 gone. Back after this to Constellation Field.
No, we're good.
Owls versus Cougars, Tuesday night, day night, right here at Constellation Field. kids summer activities that are not just the thing when you start a baseball player in your family. Sugar Land Skeeters and Miniature Gary got in going to be hosting their annual baseball camp. It's going to be going on June 26th and June 30th right here at Constellation Field. The week-long camp will provide instructions and organize an enjoyable atmosphere with drills, skill competitions, and of course, absolute week-long fun. Make sure you visit the Classic Chevrolet Customer Service Desk.
Well, the new man on the mound is the right-hander Mike Heppel, who comes in this 6th inning with a runner on second and 1 out for the Skeeters in a 2-2 tie. Heppel, in his 4th appearance on the season, has pitched 4 2/3 of an inning so far with a 9.64 ERA, 5 hits, 8 walks, 6 strikeouts for the big right-hander. He's a former Mets farmhand, and he got to the Mets making his debut in independent baseball, was in the Frontier League and then got noticed and signed, made it as high as Double-A, and was released just last year, and he comes in to face Joe Benson of the Skeeters.
Scott's at second base. Wilkins at first. Joe Benson looks at a pitch down and out. Next one on the way to Benson, in there for a strike. We're going to have to check point streak to figure out how Andy Wilkins got to first base.
I didn't have him batting.
We looked up and he was standing at first after the pitching change. Here's the 1-1 in there for a strike. Heppel, by the way, 6'6", Connecticut native. So the Skeeters have a couple of guys on base. And the pitch to Benson is chopped softly and foul wide to third. Tell you what, in the big leagues, I've seen this rash of catcher's interference. As you look up, all of a sudden there's a runner at first base. As we know, started in the Atlantic League and now in the majors, you can just send a guy to first. You can walk him, but that would be a strange situation to put Wilkins on, even though it sets up a double play in a tie game. But Wilkins was put on intentionally. So a couple of walks has given the Skeeters 2 base runners. And we'll find out, did that occur before or after the pitching change? The 1-2. Benson will chop one foul back to the screen. Last thing any pitcher wants to do is come into the game and issue the intentional walk and say, wait a minute, that's my runner, and I haven't even really gotten fired up.
Right.
The last thing someone leaving the game wants to do is put another guy on that would be his responsibility for his bullpen mate. Golden opportunity here for Sugar Land to break up a 2-2 game, get their first lead. They're batting in the bottom of the 6th. Benson against Heppel. Benson's been able to get just enough contact to foul a few away, and now he takes one just outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Heppel, though, again, when he started his career, you mentioned in the Independent League, he was with 4 different teams his first year. That's a pretty good introduction to pro ball. Pitches down and into Benson, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Not just starting in any ball, but doing so with 4 different teams: Sioux City, Washington, Southern Illinois, and Evansville, and then working your way to affiliated baseball. And thought highly enough to be in the fall league with the Mets before coming back to independent baseball. Here's a 3-2 pitch, and that one's roped foul wide of Gary Gaetti in the coach's box and skipping up into the seats down the left field side. Benson runs well, so he's not an easy man to double up unless he hits a missile at one of the infielders. No guarantee Travis would score from second on a base hit if it's socked right towards Bierfeld or Krause or Kronfeld, but they've had their difficulties with some ground balls in this series. Another payoff pitch. Hit high in the air, center field, well struck, but the ballpark will hold it. Krause back just shy of the track. He's going to make the catch. Scott's going to tag. He's going to advance to third, and the throw comes bouncing in so softly that Wilkins will follow and take second. I don't think that was an advised throw from Kraus in center. It lets both runners move up.
Yeah, that was not very well executed. They had to at least keep that in mind with a long fly ball to the outfield like that one. And Kraus, I think, just wasn't into the game plan there.
Well, here's Jan Santi, who's had 2 hits. He's knocked in the first Skeeters run. He scored the second. Ripped a double off the fence and left in the 5th after he had a couple of doubles last night. Bats with 2 men in scoring position and 2 outs, and he waves and misses at a breaking ball that had him falling across the plate and about 10 or 15 feet away from the batter's box on such a big rip.
He was thinking 4 bases on that one. He's gotten a hold of a couple of pitches in this game so far already and is wanting the big strike.
Scott's at third, Wilkins at second, 2 gone. Little tapper at third base side. Griffin will scoop it in on the grass, slings one to first, and it gets Jan Santi to win the inning, and the Skeeters leave 2 men in scoring position. So a couple of walks do not result in any damage, so through 6 innings, 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 error for New Britain, 2 runs, 6 hits, and no errors for the Skeeters. So we'll switch things up as we keep it here between half innings and go to the 7th inning. It's been a low-scoring contest. The Skeeters have yet to gain the advantage. Had an opportunity with the runner at second and nobody out in the 5th. Leadoff man on. Couple of guys on base last inning, but unable to push across a tally to keep this a 2-2 game.
Yeah, a good night for Jake Hale as well. He's going to be lifted here for Evan Reed, as Reed will go out there and make another appearance. And Reed's got off to a slow start in this season, but has started to turn it around a little bit. He's 1-0 on the season, a 7.50 ERA. He's given up 6 runs, with 5 of them coming in just 1 appearance, and that was his first one in the opening homestand against Bridgeport. But so far since then, he has pitched pretty effectively. Overall, he's thrown 6 innings and given up 6 runs, 11 hits, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts.
So Jake Hale tonight goes 6 innings, gives up the 6 hits, 2 runs, both on home runs. Finished strong. He retired the last 7 men that he faced. Struck out 6 in the game, and Hale was around the zone. He fought his control. It felt like a little bit in the first inning, but he didn't walk a batter. So no walks, 6 strikeouts, retires 7 straight. Speaking of 7, we're on our way to the 7th inning in a ball game tied at 2, and he's back on the bullpen card himself. Here's Ira.
Just for the record, I would walk, even from that distance. I like to walk. Unlike you, Mr. Get a chauffeur and a limo and that kind of stuff.
Hey, what would be wrong with taking the bullpen
I'm no Brett
card
Dolan.
home? I mean, just drive that little thing, punch right on in, punch in your code over at your estate.
I enjoy exercise. I don't know how you keep the weight off of the 8,000 calorie of carbs you put down that throat every day.
A very active lifestyle.
What are you doing? You're not walking anywhere. What are you doing to burn all these calories off? Watching your son and daughter in Little League is not burning calories, just so you know.
Throw a little BP, hit the weight room, whatever it takes as they get older.
So you have hit a weight room.
I mean, we've lost Jay Lucas on this homestand. We can't lose anybody else.
It's true. By the way, if Jay's listening, wish him the speediest of recoveries. We miss him.
I didn't get a box score last night. That made me think of Jay Lucas.
Yeah, but you always snatch it from him.
Well,
it's tradition.
I'm in a hurry to get my box.
Skeeters and Bees tied at 2-2 here as we move to the top of the 7th inning. Gunnar Bierfeld is 1 for 2. He has singled an infield single. Line sharply to third his last time up. Been a very well pitched game on both ends. Jake Hale, a tough start, but man, was he good. Fornatera also pitched very well. First pitch, a strike, no balls and 1 strike to Bierfeld, who came in at .235 with 4 home runs and 8 RBIs. Evan Reed, and the Skeeters right-hander, will deal the 0-1, and this one is slammed down the right side. Foul. Reed really with a great fastball. Can't wait till find out how fast he's throwing. Reed gets the sign here from Cordero. He'll kick and deal the 0-2. Swan a hit high and deep in the air to left field. This one's trouble. Benson going back near the manual scoreboard. Will bring it down on the warning track. Off the bat, I thought he had it, Brett.
Well, I did too, but Benson was so casual, I wasn't sure if he had it measured or he was just waiting to see it drift over his head, but he had it the entire time.
It was kind of casual on the other 2 home runs. That's why I thought it might go, but luckily it stays in the park. 2 runs, 6 hits for both squads here as the left-hander hitting Paul Cronenfeld steps in. He has struck out looking and singled, one of 6 strikeout victims that Hale has. I told you he's got great control. Usually 1 or 2 walks tops, 0 walks tonight. First pitch here, a strike, no balls and 1 strike to count. Came in at 250, no home runs and no RBIs. Making of a very nice sunset here at Constellation Fields. The 0-1. Swan and foul back and out of play. I don't know why this is, but if you look through our breezeway or look out my window next door, man, it is the greatest sunset like every night. It's amazing.
So you haven't been to Arizona enough to say that. It's nice. It's not top shelf, but it's nice.
Who's got a raid on my parade? You're a parade rainer.
I enjoy that.
High and tight. I know you do.
By the way, just to prove my worth, you wanted to know
First of all, you got to do a lot of proof. I mean, this got to be like a murder investigation.
Well, you're not getting that, but you wanted the velo on Reed. I've seen 93, 92 in a couple of fastballs.
Okay. Have you seen this? There's no radar gun.
Oh, there's one right
This one is swung and missed. Now you've got Zach Zanicola down here. He's charting some pitches for us. Spoke to him today. Said it is not as bad as it was first thought. He'll still be out a few weeks, but luckily he said it could have been a lot worse. So.
Hammy?
Yep. 2 outs, none on for Jake McGuigan. Last night 2 home runs, tonight 2 flyouts to right. This one swung and fouled straight back. Good cut for number 2 there. No balls and 1 strike to count. 2-2 your score here in the top half of the 7th. Ira Liebman, Brett Dolan, Andy Humphrey, Nathan Werner back in the studio. Reed, the right-hander, former big leaguer with the Tigers, will deal the 0-1. This one is low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Mentioned he was a teammate of Robbie Weinhardt. Well, they were at Toledo together, and now Robbie's coming into the bullpen in a little different manner. He's actually driving the bullpen car.
Is he?
So he's driving his former teammate. And this one hits McGuigan. Well, he'll trot down the first. That breaking up a long string. That was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in a row. Wow.
I tell you what, anybody who's just kind of finished off his career but might still have the inclination to want to pitch, driving in the bullpen cart would not be a very good effort, because you'd be tempted to say, you take it back, I'll take your glove and I'll throw a few.
You never know. Could lure Robbie out of retirement, perhaps. Big part of the Skeeters championship squad last year. By the way, Cordero behind the dish, his teammates call him Coco. And you know what I could think of when I think of Coco. All you Seinfeld fans. Remember Coco the Monkey episode?
Coco the Monkey.
George wanted to be T-Bone. Instead he was Coco the Monkey.
Why no T-Bone?
1 ball and no strikes to count here to Carrillo. Struck out both times up. McGuigan leads off first. Reeds. Pitch is swung and fouled back. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. 2-2 here in the top half of the 7th. Skeeters took game 1 of this 6-game series. Game 1 of a 10-game homestand as well. Tomorrow's Sunday fun day and a beach towel giveaway. So Brett can have something to sit on when he watches his son and daughter play Little League instead of screaming at people.
Umpires.
trying to be nice.
I'll spread it around a little bit.
The towel or the yelling?
Yelling.
2 balls and 1 strike, the count. Reed looks in for the sign. Let's see where they set up here on the 2-1. Peeks over his left shoulder first after the runner at first, McGuigan. The 2-1, this one is a little low and away. That'll run the count to 3 balls and a strike here. Reed wearing number 37 on the mound. I don't think a Skeeter has ever worn that number. Good hitters count here. Reed's going to have to be careful. The 3-1. Swanee hit high in the air to left center field, but playable. It is Jansanti who squeezes it for the final out. Middle of the 7th inning. It is 7th inning stretch time. So get your peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I do care if you never come back. Skeeters and Bees tied at 2 apiece. We move to the bottom of the 7th inning. I hope you're all stretched out. Now Nathan Werner is, and we have a new pitcher on the hill, and that is southpaw Brandon Fry will take over here. But first, before we get to more on Fry, don't cry, we will pause 10 seconds for a station identification. So Fry will step in. Number 20 is 6'3", 195. The Jacksonville, Florida native has been as high as A-ball and pitched for these Bees before.
He's been a workhorse this year. His 8th appearance, the team leading appearance, 0-1, 4.22 earned run average, 10 2/3 innings of work. He's only given up 5 hits, but 5 runs. And league hitting 139 against him.
So Fry will pitch to 9, 1 and 2. Albert Cordero, then back to the top of the order with Josh Prince and Lance Sawatsky. Coco steps in here. He is grounded out and an RBI single. First pitch by the southpaw. Swan had missed. Of course, Fry is the one in Ferris Bueller's Day Off when right after he calls Bueller's name, he finishes with Fry. 2-2 your score here in the bottom of the 7th. 3-0-1 by Fry. Swung and chopped foul at the plate.
Think about his numbers. You have to be a little bit unlucky to throw 10 2/3 innings, to give up 5 hits, not allow a homer. No, he's walked 4 guys, but to give up 5 runs on 5 hits in 10 2/3 innings without a long ball.
It'd be lucky than good.
BABIP must be off the charts in the wrong direction.
3-0-2. Swan and hit into right center field. Charging it is Krause. He will make a running catch coming in from right center. That's out number 1. Fry from the home, originally born, the home of the Football Hall of Fame, Canton, Ohio. On the 18th round pick of the Padres out of Pearl River Community College, which poses the question, where is Pearl Community College? Pearl River Community College.
Either Florida or Mississippi.
You got one. You got to take a legit stab here.
Florida.
No.
Don't tell me it was Mississippi.
It was Mississippi.
Crying out loud.
Poplarville, Mississippi. Now in steps Josh Prince. First pitch, a ball, 1 ball and no strikes to count. Slacking, Dolan.
Well, the Braves,
I expect you to know every college in the country.
See, the Braves AA team, which they call the Mississippi Braves, I think is in Pearl. So thus maybe a river floats through called the Pearl River. But because he had been born in Florida, I thought maybe there was a chance there.
Should have used that logic before your guess. I'm sorry, Brett, but you do not make it to the bonus round. You can pick up your consolation prize, which is your towel for tomorrow.
All right.
The 2-0 is held off the catcher, Skelton. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. This year for New Britain, Fry 3-3 with a 5.67 ERA. Had 1 save. Career numbers of 4-13 with a 5.02 ERA. The 2-1 here to Prince. Strike on the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fry just 24 years old. Turned 24 on March 28th. Fry's ready. The 2-2 to Prince. Swan a missed strike 3. That is out number 2 here. First strikeout for Fry, 2 outs, none for Lance Zawatsky. Zawatsky's 0 for 3. He has flat out to right, rounded out to short, flat out to left. Two runs on 6 hits for both teams. The Bees have committed 1 E. The Skeeters have not. In steps the left-handed hitting shortstop. A lefty-lefty matchup here for Fry. First pitch to Zawatsky. This one nubbed foul to the right of home. No balls and 1 strike to count. Take a look around the Atlantic League scoreboard if we have time here. Leo 1. This one is grounded to the right side. McGuigan has it. He'll throw it to first. We'll do the scoreboard next inning. 4-3 on the putout. A 1-2-3 inning here for Fry with a flyout, a strikeout, and a groundout. Through 7, we're still tied at 2 between the Bees and the Skeeters. And the battle of the Bugs continues.
Skeeters have gone to the bullpen as this game goes to the 8th inning. Left-hander Dustin Richardson is on. I think making his 7th appearance. No decisions. He does have a save and a 1.59 earned run average. He's given up 3 hits and a run in 5 2/3 innings of work.
Richardson will take over here, the lone southpaw on this team. Number 34, a 6'6", 220 pounds from Newton, Kansas. Pitched for the Ducks last year. Former big leaguer, spent part of 2 seasons with the Red Sox, 11 years as a pro for Richardson. Richardson will face the top of the order here in James Skelton, Michael Krause, and Jovan Rosa, with the score tied at 2 apiece. A little bit more on Richardson. He is 33 years old and didn't get a win or a loss in his short big league time. Had 29 career appearances over those 2 seasons. Pretty good ERA though, 3.31. James Skelton will step in. Skelton led off the game with a home run since he has struck out and grounded out. He'll step in with the score tied at 2. They're going to set up away on the first pitch. Swan off the fist, fouled into the screen. No balls and 1 strike to count. Richardson, a former 5th-round pick in 2006 by the Red Sox, is a Texas Tech Red Raider. Last year at the Ducks, 1-3 with a 3.51 ERA. They just want a strike and quickly 0-2 here on Skelton. Minor league career totals of 39 and 27 with a 4.56 ERA and 12 saves. As he is in his 7th season of pro ball now. 3-0-2. This one hits Skelton on the hand. Ouch. Certainly not intentional on an 0-2 pitch. Goes all the way to third. Nelson throws it to first, not knowing if it was off the bat or not. Man, that hurts.
And the velocity by which that ricocheted off the hand is what's the most scary for Skelton, because that means that got a lot of bone and a lot of hand.
Really the mainstay catcher on this team. You hope he is okay. Trainer taking a look at him here. He's flexing the hand, which is a decent sign. Just wonder if he'll stay in this game here. Gary Gaddy, a nice job of sportsmanship, is going to come out. See if everything is okay as well.
Gary might also be asking, did I have a little bit of the bat?
Possibly. It certainly sounded like all hand from here. What'd you think?
Well, it made a loud sound, and that doesn't mean it couldn't have been all hand. But
if it was not, and this is the best acting job I've ever seen. I mean, Skelton in a lot of pain there. Question is, will he continue or not? Looks like he's going to. Wow, catchers are tough. We go down to first.
Stan Clyburn's almost pointing more towards. Look, Stan wants to shake his hand to see what type of pain he's in. I think Skelton passed the test.
A hit by pitch as Richardson puts the first man on via the hit by pitch. I'll bring in Michael Krause, who has doubled, homered, and struck out.
If I'm Skelton, I steal on the first pitch just to see if I can either get my base or go back to the dugout.
He's got speed. We've seen him steal a lot here. Krause will come in. 3 home runs now and 4 RBIs with his dinger tonight. Well, in steps the right-hander hitting Krause. First pitch, he squares the bunt. That one almost got away from Cordero. Skelton last year stole 15 bases, and it's not a fluke either. He stole 14 twice in his career. He stole 20 a few years back with Somerset in 2013. There's one to strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. 2-2 your score here in the top of the 8th. Got 61 steals in his career, been caught 20 times. And Richardson sees him dancing back and forth at first, throws over finally. I think Pudge Rodriguez has the catching stolen base record. The year he won MVP, he stole 25 bags.
I think John Wathan probably has that record.
This
for
one's
catching.
swung and missed. 1 and 2. You think so? Oh, Mr. Royal, of course. Why would I?
Well, just Google it. Just single season stolen base record by a catcher. See what you get.
Let's see. How many did Wathan
I
steal?
bet he got a 40 stolen base campaign at some point.
Really?
I'm just guessing.
I remember that because he was part of the George Brett, Frank White, Willie Aikens teams. 1 misses, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Iowan too by birth, which that means a lot.
This one is right down the middle for strike 3. Good fastball there by Richardson, and there's 1 down. 1 out and 1 out as Javon Rosa steps to the plate.
First baseman number 35, Javon Rosa.
Let's see him coming up on it here. Stolen base by catcher. In a season, well, if we go all the way back pre-19th century, the record's
we can't do that.
53. John Wathan, there you go, 36.
I almost count that as a double win.
That's like the only more modern record. Actually, he's second, too, if you go by more modern stuff. He stole 28 in 1983 as well. John Stearns in that mix. I never would have catch that. And Stearns was really a Met more than a Yankee, but he did with the Yankees. Pudge Rodriguez is the 25. He is 7th on that list, but depending on how modern you want to go. Jason Kendall, forgot about him. This one popped up down the right side, foul territory. Travis Scott giving a long run at Chase, but he won't be able to catch up to it. That one hooked back, almost caught the line.
So Brad Parker, the first base umpire, was racing over near the stands in case he had a play there, and then he was 15 feet from the chalk. Had that ball landed fair or foul, he would not have had a very good look at it. I mean, it was so close, obviously foul, but it was dangerously close to being a tough call for being so far away.
So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on, tied at 2-2 here in the top half of the 8th inning. And Richardson's going to chase back Skelton. Here's an interesting one. It won't surprise you who did it, just the fact that he did it in his career. What would you guess that the most stolen bases of home by a catcher is in a career?
In a career?
Yeah. And there goes Skelton. Speaking of stealing catchers, the throw down to second will not get him. The ball was swung and missed. 1 and 2 the count. So Skelton back to his old tricks. Swipe second. This is his 5th steal of the year already.
I don't know, 7 or 8?
3. Want to take a guess at who did it?
Nope.
Carlton Fisk.
Come on.
Yeah.
There had to be some back end of a double steal stuff for Pudge.
Well, 3 different times. 77, 78, and 85. One ball and 2 strikes to count here. Jason Kendall in 98 stole home twice in a game. Now Richardson spins toward second, no throw. It's our catcher stolen base trivia for the evening. Richardson, a long look in here. They're going to set up way inside, and this one off the fist of Rosa. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. 2 runs on 6 hits for both teams. Skeeters trying to take the first 2 games of this 6-game series.
Last hit we had in this game was in the 5th inning.
The 1-2. Swung and fouled in and out of the mitt of Albert Cordero. Count remains 1 and 2. Tomorrow it will be Michael Nix, who's been some tough luck. He's 0-3, but he's got a 3.96 ERA. He will go against right-hander Jason Jarvis, who's 0-1 with an even 5 ERA. Going off the fist again into the screen again. Count remains 1 and 2. Long at bat here by Rosa. Still no win. Actually got pretty cool last night.
It did.
Cooling down here quickly. This is what the Northeast is like now. It's really nice, 75, 80, but at night it really drops down pretty quickly. This one high and outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I'm right here, but I don't know.
79 degrees, feels a lot cooler. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1 on, tied at 2 in the top half of the 8th. The Skeeters southpaw will kick and fire. This one swung and missed. Man, did that have movement. That was some slider by Richardson. It featured just the fastball and slider, but what a slider. That broke like 7 inches.
Well, if you're Rosa, you're almost hoping to make contact because you fear if you don't, that ball's going to hit you in the kneecap.
Which, one of those strange baseball rules that don't come up very often. If you swing and miss and it hits you, what's the call?
Well, you're out, and I saw it this year and ended the inning, and the ball rolled away, and everybody said, run. The ball's dead.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's still a hit by pitch, but it's not. This one is a strike on the outside corner to the left-handed hitting Greg Maddox.
I think Hunter Pence used to do that twice a year. He'd swing and miss, and the ball would hit him on the shoe, or just the way he played.
This one swung and missed, 0-2. Remember Todd Jennings, who's catcher here for the Skeeters? Doesn't Craig Maddox look just like him? Look on the scoreboard.
I'd say so.
The 0-2. Swung and fouled off to the left side. Count remains, no balls and 2 strikes. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2-2 your score here in the top of the 8th. Bottom of the 8th for the Skeeters, Jeremy Barfield to lead it off. Travis Scott, Chris Nelson. The 0-2 by Richardson, fouled off to the left side. Count remains 0-2.
One of the more fascinating stances in the league, and he kind of holds his hands out in front of him. So that load forces him, when the pitch is coming, to really bring it back and come forward. You would think there'd be a little bit of a timing issue, but obviously it's something he's done for a number of years. But he holds those hands when he starts, almost like towards the umpire, who's between third and second.
The 0-2 swung on a missed, strike 3 as Richardson, after hitting Skelton to lead off the inning, strikes out the side as the next 3 batters go down in order. Middle of the 8th inning, our style tied at 2. Back here in a moment. We move to the bottom half of the 8th inning. And what's going on here before the inning? Skelton, they're checking out if he can catch. They're going to give him some extra pitches. Looks like a pitcher who gets hurt. They see if he can throw and wants to continue. So looks like Skelton's okay. 2-2 here in the bottom of the 8th. Big inning. The Skeeters score. They can go to their closer. Jeremy Barfield will lead it off for the Skeeters. He is 1 for 3. He has struck out, singled, and grounded out. You know, with one swing of the bat, he can give the Skeeters the lead. Barfield 390, 5 home runs, 10 RBIs. If you're a player, you've won an MVP award or a Player of the Year award like Barfield has, it's difference between defending your batting crown or a home run crown in his case. Is it the same as defending your Most Valuable Player award or Atlantic League Player of the Year award?
I don't know if you think of it in those terms as much as you just want to have another good season. If you do, his numbers speak for themselves. He would have a shot to do it again.
First pitch here to Jeremy. Curveball high and outside. 1 ball and no strikes to count.
He's due for a long one, though. You know, he's hit 5, but he's faced some handful of lefties already.
The 1-0 here by Fry. This one under the hands for a strike. Barfield not happy at all. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Recompose himself and step in here. Open stance from the right side for Jeremy. The 1-1. Swan and foul tipped into the mid of Skelton, and he was going for the downs there and may have hurt himself.
He may have rolled his ankle on that swing. I mean, he took such a vicious swing. He says he's okay, but he toppled over across the plate, finished with that big high one-handed wraparound effort.
A couple of guys are banged up there. Skelton takes off his mask and sees that Barfield's all right. He got hit in the hands. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. 2-2 your score here in the bottom of the 8th. The 1-2 to Barfield. In the dirt, gets away from Skelton. No one on, no need to worry though. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. The 2-2 here to Barfield. Curveball a little bit high and outside. That was extremely close. Good eye by Jeremy. 3-2. Barfield wears number 29. Same number his dad Jesse wore at the Blue Jays. Jeremy donning the blue of the Skeeters. Payoff pitch coming here to Barfield. This one is a little high, ball 4. 2 very close pitches. Good eye by Barfield, and now the go-ahead run down at first.
Brandon Fry smacked his pitching hand against his thigh. He was upset that he missed on those last 2 after getting ahead of Jeremy.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Now heading for your Skeeters.
Well, in steps Travis Scott, who has singled, grounded out, and walked, so been on base 2 of the 3 times up. Of course, last night's hitting star, or one of them at least. That big pinch hit that set up the home run by Prince. Barfield does not steal many bases. And now Scott's going to square the bunt, a good one. Up the right side, it is bobbled to throw to first in time, so a successful sack. Now the go-ahead run in scoring position with Barfield at second. And in steps Chris Nelson.
Who's your hitting coach, your player coach, your cleanup hitter, dropping down a bunt, and a good one. And on a 3-4 play. Once he got it by the mound, I thought he had a shot, but McQuiggan a heads-up play to get over to first to take the throw.
So in steps Chris Nelson. Nelson has singled, grounded out twice, once to short, last time up to third. He's 1 for 3. 2-2 here in the bottom of the 8th. Both teams with 6 hits apiece. Well-pitched game on both ends. This one is a strike. No balls and 1 strike here to Nelson. Nelson really starting to hit well here. This is a guy who hit 267 in the big leagues, about 270 in the minors, and you know it's just a matter of time before he gets his average right around that mark. Fry looks at second, comes home. The 0-1 is way inside as Nelson backs off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. The go-ahead run down at second and Jeremy Barfield. The 1-1. This one is low and in. 2 balls and a strike here. Two balls, 1 strike, 1 out. See if Nelson be a hitting star here. The 2-1 from Fry. Curveball. This one a beautiful drop. Breaks right over the heart of the plate for a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
The throw back to Fry, he had his glove off. It hit his bare hand and propelled away. There's some concern that Barfield might advance. He wasn't expecting a ball. He reached up with his bare hand and tried to catch the return throw.
Barfield, interesting fact, despite his Player of the Year award last year, he stole just 2 bases. But those 2 bases were the first bases he had stolen since 2013 of any sort. The 2-2. Swung on and hit high in the air to left field, but playable. Bierfeld there. One died in a hurry. There's a second out to left.
Well, he must have caught that off the handle or off the end.
I think it was off the end of the bat. That'll bring in Andy Wilkins. Wilkins has flatted to center. He has struck out and was intentionally walked last time up. So just missed that one. Wilkins came in, 231 with a home run and 6 RBIs. Wilkins does not get a hit here. The bottom of the order would come up in the bottom of the ninth. Lefty-lefty matchup. First pitch is high, 1-0 here on Wilkins. Wilkins pretty straight up stance from the left side of the box. Stands fairly close to the plate, deep in the box. The 1-0. There's one to strike on the inside corner, 1-1. He's got that big bushy beard. I think that's still in vogue. Was the big thing about 2 years ago. Is it slowly fading away?
I don't know.
Now?
Not in this city.
Yeah, no kid. The 1-1. Strike on the outside corner. 1-2 to count. So now Wilkins down in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. A runner down at second. 2-2 here in the bottom of the 8th. The southpaw winds, deals, and this one swung in. Slashed down the third base line, just foul. Would have been the go-ahead run. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count.
It's almost like he took that ball out of the catcher's glove on that swing.
Sad you say that, because when I was little watching TV when I first watched a baseball game, that's what I thought was happening. It's like, how do they do that? The 1-2 here to Wilkins. Swung and chop foul, this time to the right side, just past the Skeeters dugout. Family, nice catch down there. The count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. As the Skeeters mascot Swanson here, having fun with some fans. The 1-2 here to Wilkins. Swung and chopped slowly to the right side. That's going to stay fair. Just 1 step from first is Rosa. He'll step on the bag, and that'll do it. Skeeters get the go-ahead run to second, but Strand Barfield, we are through 8 innings of play, still tied at 2-2 between the Skeeters and the Bees.
discount on any service call that is available for firefighters, law enforcement, teachers, members, and former members of the armed forces. More. Call them at 713-956-8326.
Rocking out as Andrew Johnston comes into the game. He is the fourth pitcher used by the Skeeters. He's making his 8th appearance on the season. No record, but a 7.11 ERA. That's 5 runs and 6 2/3, or 6 1/3 innings of work. And he's on here in a tie game in the top of the 9th inning.
So that high earn run average, the first 2 appearances of the season. Well, second and third appearance. He'll have 3 2/3 and then 2 in an inning, but 4 straight scoreless appearances since. First pitch by A.J. swung and a miss by the third baseman, the 6'6", John Griffin. He's 0 for 3. He has flied out, struck out, and grounded it. Dustin Richardson last inning struck out the side. The 0-1 here by Andrew Johnston. This one in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike to count from A.J. A.J. 33 years old, number 2265. From High Ridge, Missouri, in his 4th year as a member of the Skeeters, and 2-time All-Star with the Skeeters, including last season. The 1-1. This one swung and fouled off deep down the right side, 1-2. Last year in the playoffs, A.J. unscored upon. No record, no ERA in 4 appearances. He's a big St. Louis Blues fan. Every year, St. Louis hoping they can win the Cup. Great pitch there by A.J. Broke right near the heart of the plate. This one was a little high, 2-2. A.J. features a fastball, slider, and a splitter. That is his out pitch, and you'll probably see it right here. A splitter in the dirt. The 2-2. This one nubbed foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. May have been it right there. 2-2 the count here to Griffin. 2-2 your score here in the top half of the 9th. AJ gets the sign from Cordero. He sets up away. Swan in a sharply hit ball towards third. Foul, however. Count remains 2-2. Take a look at the Atlantic League scoreboard here. It is the Bridgeport Bluefish who just beat the Barnstormers 6-5. Now another final. Southern Maryland beats the Ducks 8-5. The 2-2. Just misses off the outside corner, 3-2. Also 2-2 in Somerset, as York and the Patriots are tied at 2-2 in the 9th, much like this one, 2-2 in the 9th as well. One chop foul. Pretty good at bat here by Griffin. We'll see a 7th pitch here. You're right, Brett, it has been a while since a hit. At the last B's hit was back in the 4th with 2 outs. Payoff pitch is low and in, ball 4. A leadoff walk. Not what the doctor ordered. That's the first walk of the night for Skeeters pitching.
It's pretty impressive, but boy, it comes at the wrong time in a tie game in the 9th inning.
Connor Bierfeld will step in. You got to think he's going to square the bunt here. Long look down at Stan Clyburn. Stan is not flashing any signs, so maybe he's going to swing away here. Stan, who got his 1,600th managerial win last year, if you remember when he was the manager of Southern Maryland 2 years ago, he got his 1,500th right here at Constellation Field. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Two-2 your score, number 22 on the mound in Andrew Johnston. The 1-0. Swan and drilled into the left field corner. This is trouble. That's going to be a fair ball. It'll rattle around in the corner. Let's see if they wave home Griffin. They'll hold him at third. And now second and third, and nobody out here for the Bees. That'll bring in Paul Cronenfeld, The left-handed hitting Cronenfeld has struck out twice in between single. Let's see, did you intentionally walk him here? I mean, really, he's not much of a significance. Really, the runner at third and even the runner at second is significant. Skeeters will bring the infield in here, so I guess they will not intentionally walk him. Griffin off third. Deerfield off second. This one hit to the left side. It works. Nelson stumbles, looks at third, fires it to first. There's one away. Good job by Nelson.
Boy, he nearly jackknifed right at the lip between the grass and the dirt, and that right foot started to go. Had he fallen or dropped down to his knees, or maybe threw that ball away, that would have been a strange dynamic to this game. But he was able to right himself long enough to make that throw.
Jake McGuigan will step in. He has flattered to right twice and was hit by a pitch last time up. So just need another Adam ball. Right at somebody. They're going to set it inside to try to jam him, and this one is a jam shot. Foul back into our right, 0-1 the count. AJ 12 pitches so far, 7 for strikes. And Britt now hitting the Skeeters 7-6, but we're tied at 2-2 here in the top of the ninth, but the Bees threatening with runners on second and third and only one away. AJ shakes off the first side. Now he's ready, and now time called. Jake McGuigan asks for timeout. Reggie Liggins grants him time. The 0-1 here by AJ. This one is down low. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Runners on second and third. Griffin at third. Bierfeld at second. Tied at 2-2 here in the top half of the ninth. Gotta be careful too with that splitter. Don't want it to go back to the screen and score the go-ahead run. This one way inside. Off-speed pitch misses, but it almost hit McGregor. McGuigan. 2 balls and 1 strike here. Skeeters need a big out here. A pop up, a strikeout, a ground ball. There's a ground ball. Nelson again slips over there. Is the dirt or what? I mean, before this inning started, I saw Jeremy Barfield, who was stranded at second, come behind the mound and clean out his spikes. So I don't know why it's so slick.
I don't either, but if this was the football game, he'd be going to the locker room to get the extra extended cleats.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Could see this splitter, a little risk again with the runner at third. They set up inside. This one hit towards second. Prince has it. He'll throw it to first and a big second out. Now AJ and the Skeeters with a chance to get out of it. AJ dove for the ball on the right side of the mound. Luckily he did not come up with it, or it may have trickled somewhere and allowed the runner to score.
Well, the Bees have to be thinking, we finally get a hit. We have a chance to maybe win a game in May. Second and third, nobody out. And a couple of ground balls right to infielders playing in.
The number 9 hitter will step in, Steve Carrillo. He has struck out twice and flat out to center. And we got a pinch hitter here. That is Jamal Walton. Walton is no picnic either. Now we're going to have a meeting of the minds on the mound here as the entire infield comes to the mound to discuss how to pitch Walton here. Also have to be careful of his speed and the fact that he's a left-handed hitter. So Walton last night, not off to a good start. 9 games so far this season, hitting just 156. No home runs, no RBIs, so you be catching him at the right time here. Remember, insurance runs this year brought to you by our good friends at Texas Farm Bureau. Texas Farm members get free tickets to Skeeters game on Sundays. Just show your proof of your current membership at the Skeeters ticket office and get 2 free tickets to any Sunday home game. Visit your local agent to become a member today. First pitch misses, 1-0 the count. 2-2 here in the top of the ninth. The 1-0. Swan and foul down the left side, 1-1. Andrew Johnston trying to get out of a second and third no-out jam now. 2 down and 1 out away. With the left-hander hitting Walton at bat, Prince very deep at second. Fans coming alive here at Constellation Field. The 1-1 here to Walton. On the outside corner, great off-speed pitch there, froze him. Now 1-2. Now, I think you're going to see that splitter right here. AJ's ready. The 1-2. Just a little low. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on, 2-2 your score here. With that splitter, a lot of people always think it's always in the dirt, but you can just make it sink from, say, chest to knees. The 2-2. Swan grounded to the right side. Scott has it at first. He'll flip to AJ, and AJ gets out of a second and third. No out jam with 3 ground ball outs. 1 to third, 1 to second, 1 to first. Skeeters with a chance to walk it off. When we get back in the bottom of the ninth, we're tied at 2. Bottom of the ninth. Skeeters with a chance to win it here. It'll be the bottom of the order here in the bottom of the ninth. 7, 8, and 9. Joe Benson, Anthony Jansanti, and Albert Cordero. And really the key to this inning, Brett Benson with his speed getting on here.
It certainly helped. Jansanti's had some good swings already in this series, and then you get to an opportunity where you get a man in scoring position and take your cracks on knocking him in. But I tell you what, both of these teams have struggled dearly. Not only getting men on, but the few times they've had runners in scoring position, not being able to take advantage.
So Fry will begin his 3rd inning of work here. He came on in the 7th. He's been very good. He's allowed just 1 over the minimum, has not allowed a hit. He has struck out 1 and walked 1. Well, in steps Joe Benson. Benson is hit into a fielder's choice, struck out, and flat out to center. The southpaw Fry will deliver to the right-hander hitting left fielder Benson. First pitch a little bit high, 1 ball and no strikes to count. All right, 22 pitches, 13 for strikes. The 1-0. This one down the middle for a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike to count. And a couple of defensive changes. We'll get to them in a moment. This one swung and grounded towards short. McGuigan will throw it to first, and there's out number 1. That was one of the changes. McGuigan goes from second to short, and Baca goes to second. Michael Baca. One out, none out for Anthony Jansanti. Anthony, 2 for 3. He has singled, doubled, grounded out the third, scored a run, and drove in a run. Then with a home run on the season, a home run here would end it. 293, a home run, and now 6 RBIs. This one a strike on the inside corner. He kind of jumped out of the way of that one, called a strike, and was a little upset. Then calmed down quickly after he spoke to the home plate umpire. Cordero on deck. The 0-1. Swung and hit into left field for a base hit, and Jansanti represents the winning run down at first, and he has speed. Perhaps let him go here.
Boy, he's had good swings. He's been on base now 6 times in the 2 games in this series.
That'll bring in Cordero. In steps the Skeeters catcher. Switch hitter will bat here from the right side. Jansanti on the season, 3 stolen bases. He has not been caught. Skeeters have stolen 16 bases. They have been caught once. I say you let him go here. Sack bunt out of the picture with 1 out. Even if Cordero does not get it done, then maybe Prince would. Fastball misses up high. Fry, 34 pitches. This will be number 35. The 1-0 to Cordero. Curveball and a big bender breaks over the outside corner for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. Tied at 2-2 here in the bottom of the 9th. Seems like hits at the concession stand got pricey here.
Does feel that way.
The 1-1. Swung a bullet down the third baseline, just foul. Man, did Cordero turn on that one. The 1-2 makes 3, and number 3 at the plate in Albert Cordero. Last year, Cordero had a respectable 275 for the Skeeters, a home run, 12 RBIs in 56 games. The 1-2, there goes Jansanti. They might have him between first and second, but they're going to miss him.
Just developed too late.
Yep, they threw it to first. Jansanti was almost 2/3 of the way down there. The throw was low. Jansanti swipes his 4th base of the year. Skeeters have now stole 17 of 18.
To complicate matters, Rosa's throw hit Jansanti as well, so they were not going to get that out.
So now the winning run down at second.
Jansanti, though, I don't know if he's okay.
Yeah, probably hit him in the back. Skelton got hurt. And it was far field.
I mean, the problem here is that, you know, he says he's okay as he walks back towards second base. You want him to be able to score from second base on a base hit. If Cordero gets one to the outfield, you don't want him to be so sore or a little bit dinged up that he can't.
It'll be a 1-2 pitch coming here from Fry. Jansanti leads off second. The pitch in the dirt, smothered by Skelton. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I think this will be the last batter for Fry, so we'd like to get Cordero, a side-arming right-hander, almost a submarine-style right-hander in the pen, probably there for Prince.
Fry looks in, a tense moment in this game for both the Bees and the Skeeters. Now timeout called by the catcher Skelton. Plate umpire Reggie Liggins signaled, pointed down to Skelton. It was him and not the batter. 2-2 the count here on Cordero. Or he has an RBI single in this one. The 2-2. Swung and hit towards third, and under the glove of Griffin, it is stopped by the shortstop. And now Jansanti has to dive back. Huge play by McGuigan. If that goes through, Jansanti scores the winning run, and the game is over.
Yeah, tremendous effort by McGuigan to come up with that baseball, and Jansanti was almost in no man's land as he went skidding around third base. Had Griffin been near third, he probably would have been tagged out. Instead, he was able to crawl back because Griffin was so far off the line.
And in fact, McGuigan, the shortstop, almost got to third base before Jansanti, and here comes the manager for the Bees, Stan Clyburn. You're probably right. This will probably be all for Fry. Let's see if he makes the move. He's not signaled anything as of yet, but now old Josh Prince needs a sac fly to win this one. Hero last night with 2 home runs, has a chance to be a hero again here tonight. Now Ligon's going to go out and see if they're going to make a move or not. No, Stan Clyburn's going to stay with
crazy.
Fry.
I mean, why do you have a side-arming right-hander up and ready to go where all you need to do is maybe get a ground ball or a fly ball? This would be the time to bring him in. You're not worried about Zawaski who's on deck. The ball game could be decided here. You've had a left-hander who's given a back-to-back hits, and you've got a righty, kind of a trick shot guy out in the pen, fully ready to go.
14 rings. I got to think he's right sometimes.
But again, if you want to stay with him, don't get your pitcher up.
I agree. Well, let's see if Prince can finish this one off. Fry, a long look in. Now, before he can even throw a pitch, Skelton will flash a few signs, called by Stan Clyburn. He steps in front of home, and this is just in case Cordero decides to go. They decide whether they throw through or not. Cordero did steal 2 bases last year, but I don't think he'll be going anywhere here.
I'll tell you what, if I was the Bees, I'd be concerned about some type of safety squeeze as well.
It's not a horrible idea, actually. Prince can bunt, and he's got speed. And he does squeeze. Looked like it was the safety squeeze because Jansanti was not running on the pitch.
Yeah, he was trying to get it by the mound. He was trying to get it down. At worst, there'd be second and third 2 outs. At best, it wins the game.
0-1 the count on Prince. I don't think you do it 2 in a row, though. Gary Gaddy flashing some signs down at third. Prince, the 2 home runs last night, his new stance to produce more power. I say you let him swing away here now. Certainly the surprise out of the bag. The 0-1 here to Prince. Swinging away here, but takes it high and tight, 1-1. Now, do you put it back on? I'm going to say I let Prince swing away. What do you do here?
Problem is the first 2 pitches haven't been strikes. They've been elevated.
True. The 1-1. Swan, a hit to the left side. Griffin has it. He's going to come home, and they're going to have Jansanti. Great play by Griffin. He grabbed it to his left, spun around, and threw a strike to Skelton.
You know, when he first did that, I thought, you got to go for the double play around the horn, but with Prince's speed, he didn't want to risk it. He wanted to make sure he got that lead runner at the plate.
Still not licked yet, because there is a runner in scoring position in Cordero. And Lance Zawatsky will step in. And do you think that Stan Clyburn was thinking 2 batters ahead with the lefty-lefty matchup now here to Zawatsky? Because if he loses Zawatsky, say he walks him, the bases are loaded, then Barfield comes up, then you would for sure go to your bullpen.
I guess, but your hope is the game is decided one way or another by that point.
First pitch here to Zawatsky. This one, a strike on the inside corner, 0-1 the count. Great off-speed pitch there by Fry. The only runner that matters is Cordero at second. Prince on at first is irrelevant. If Cordero scores, this one is over. Big gap in right center, too. The 0-1 from Fry. Swan and missed, 0-2, and a ball that darted low and in. And Zawatsky in a big hole. No balls and 2 strikes.
Well, these teams, both of them, for a number of innings have been incapable of scoring even when they get leadoff men on and they get men in scoring position less than 2 outs. They can't get that even fly ball or ground ball that would produce a run.
Skeeters now hitting the Bees 8-7, tied at 2-2 here in the bottom of the 9th. Winning run down at second, and Albert Cordero. The 0-2 hit is Zawatsky. A slow ground ball to first. This should do it. Rosa will step on first. Skeeters squander a big opportunity. They had runners on the corners with 1 away, could not get it done. We go into extra frames. A little extra baseball here at Constellation Field tonight. Top of the 10th when we get back. We're tied at 2.
Skeeters bring on their 5th pitcher of the game. And right now at this point, I'm not sure if you really credit the outstanding relief pitching or you just say both of these teams have just shanked some tremendous scoring opportunities. Mark Haynes hoping it's the pitching. He's on here in the 10th inning. 7th appearance, no earned run average, 1 save. He's given up only an unearned run in 6 2/3 innings of work.
Now the 30-year-old Mark Haynes will take over here. Haynes, number 25, 6'2", 200 pounds, a Sugar Land native, and also a Rice product. Speaking of Rice, Haynes' alma mater will be playing U of H here on May 9th as University of Houston takes on the University of Rice, Cougars versus Owls.
Little side story to that, U of H has been ranked anywhere 20 to 25 all year, and Rice has had their worst season in decades, although they played pretty good baseball for 2 weeks. But the 2 previous games, I mean, Rice has shellacked the U of H, despite the fact it's their worst season in 20-some years.
I think anytime you have a interstate rival, Yankees, Mets, Rangers, Houston, I think you throw the records out the window because you get up for that. Because that's your World Series or that's your championship if you're having a bad year. You just want to beat your biggest foe. First pitch here by Haynes. Go ahead, spit it out. What are you saying there?
Well,
what do you think?
There was one pitching issue involved in one of those games, but regardless, I like how you compare the Cougars and the Owls to the Yankees and the Mets for one.
I thought it was a good segue. The 1-0. I just want a strike on the inside corner.
I would say if you're the U of H and Rice hasn't won a series all year, but they win the 2 games they played against you, you would probably think maybe that's a wasted opportunity there to get a victory.
1-1 the count here to Skelton. Haynes kicks, deals, and this one is a fist job to the left side, popped up, and it is Chris Nelson off third, who will bring it down in foul territory near the Bees dugout for out number 1. Haynes also played at Rice with former Skeeter Ricky Haig, Danny Lehman, and Anthony Rendon.
Ricky Haig playing these days?
No, he's not. Hung it up at the end of last year. I thought, there goes my ring. A big trade. Mr. Martinez over here, and the missing piece, along with Zawatsky down the stretch. Martinez wound up being the Atlantic League Championship Series MVP. He was having the best year of his career, too. I was surprised he went back to school. He had to. It was running out. The Nationals, when he was drafted, was going to pay for it. And he had to do it before that expired. But, man, the 1-0. I thought that was it. Barfield and him made a great 1-2 punch.
Sure did.
2 balls and no strikes to count here on Kraus, who homered in this game. He has also doubled and struck out each of the last 2 times up. The 2-0 here by Haynes. High and outside, ball 3-3-0.
The other guy you mentioned, Rendon, had a 6-for-6 game just about a week ago with 9 or 10 RBIs.
It's amazing that over the last several decades, nobody's had like an extra inning game where they've gotten like 7 or 8 hits. There's one low ball 4, so a 4-pitch walk here by Haynes after getting the leadoff hitter James Skelton to foul out. A 1-out, 1-on. Javon Rosa will step in. Rosa has flied out to center, singled, grounded at the third, and struck out. Rosa 250, no home runs and 2 RBIs. In the bottom of the 10th, Skeeters will have some big boppers coming up. Jeremy Barfield, Travis Scott, Chris Nelson. Skeeters infield at double play depth. Kraus leaning towards second, does not go. And this one a little bit low and away. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Little scouting report on Haynes. He features a fastball slider and a split finger fastball. A throw to first, just getting back is Kraus. Good move there by Haynes. A 1-0 coming here to Rosa. Haynes peeks over his shoulder, comes home, swung and a miss, 1-1. And a throw to first. Getting back, standing up is Kraus. John Lester has probably the worst case of ankleitis I've ever seen. I mean, how could you... Ankiel couldn't get the ball to the plate. That I understand. But Lester, perfect accuracy to the plate, can't throw it to first. Talk about being in your head. I mean, amazing that wasn't backfiring on the Cubs in the World Series.
I mean, the leads they were taking against him were as if to say, dude, go ahead. You want to try and pick me off? Go ahead.
And it wasn't just on that. Anything to first. Ground ball, on a sack bunt, he would have to run almost all the way over there to throw it underhand.
Teams would bunt on him, especially third base side, to force him to make that throw.
The 1-1 here to Rosa from Haynes. Check swing, but he went through. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. He went down on 1 knee, tried to check it. Now it was a big smile. But he's down in the count 1-2. 1 out, 1 on, tied at 2-2 here in the top half of the 10th inning. Haynes from the stretch. Kraus leads and leaning heavily towards second. Haynes holds. Now time called by the hitter, Javon Rosa. Haynes went to high school here locally, to Austin High School. All levels of ball here in the Houston area. Austin High School, Rice University, now here with the Skeeters. A little cat and mouse game. Now Cordero's going to go out and speak to Haynes. This is the first time they've worked together. Haynes last year joined the Skeeters down the stretch. Was not on the playoff roster. Appeared in 3 games, no record, at 3.37 ERA. Spent most of the season with the Kansas City T-Bones. There's our T-Bone.
T-Bone. Why no T-Bone?
5-2 at 3.25 ERA, and he was their closer at 15 saves. 28 career saves over 6 seasons for Haynes. The 1-2, there goes Kraus. The pitch out is to the left of Cordero, and luckily Kraus was not paying attention, otherwise he could be at third.
It hit the foot of Reggie Liggins.
Well, they were clearly not on the same page there, and Cordero had just gone to the mound to speak to Haynes. He went outside to the right side of the box, and Haynes threw it down the middle.
So Liggins was late getting out for that conversation, and I don't think he even charged it as a mound visit or waved it off as they were talking signs. He kind of tapped his heart as if to say, my bad. And he goes out there. He's the one that gets drilled. The trainer and the 2 umpires, base umpires, check in on Liggins. But again, I don't know how that happens when you have a meeting on the mound. I mean, Cordero was jumping out of his crouch on a pitch out with the runner going, and Haynes was throwing the ball down in the zone.
2 balls and 2 strikes as the fans give Reggie Liggins, who is local here, a nice round of applause.
Maybe the goal is to put runners in scoring position, because that's when these bats have been at their worst.
Yep. So now the go-ahead run down at second for the Bees, with the score tied at 2-2 here in the top of the 10th. The 2-2 is down low in the dirt, 3-2. Cordero keeps this one in front of him. Skeeters 1 extra inning game this year. They're 1-0. Haynes looks in for the side. Haynes not a good strike to ball ratio. Get to it after this pitch. The payoff pitch. Swung and missed, strike 3. Big strikeout there by Haynes, and there's 2 down. Haynes 13 pitches now, 5 for strikes, 8 for balls. And he is 1 out away from getting out of this. The cleanup hitter and hitting coach, tonight's DH Craig Maddox, steps in. The left-hand hitting Maddox is 0 for 4. He has grounded out 3 times and struck out last time up. Came in batting .288 with 2 home runs and 11 RBIs, and they're going to intentionally walk Maddox here. Smart move. Second walk of the inning.
So the Bees are 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Skeeters aren't much better.
In steps John Griffin, the tall right-handed hitter. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. He led off the ninth with a walk. Then a double put him at third with nobody up, but did not score on some nifty pitching by AJ. 2-2 here in the top half of the 10th inning. Now this is the second time that Cordero has stepped in front of home and flashed signs before Griffin has even taken a pitch. I don't know what signs they're going to flash here with first and second. It's not like there's runners on the corners and you got a signal for a possible throw down to second if the runner at first goes. First pitch here to Griffin is fouled straight back. That one caught a little too much of the plate. Haynes may have gotten away with one. 0-1.
I started this inning by saying I'm not sure if you credit the relief pitching or you fault the hitting. These teams combined are 1 for 20 with runners in scoring position.
Yikes.
That's beyond bad.
The 0-1 coming here to Griffin. This one swung and missed as Haynes blows under the fastball by him. 0-2, and now one strike away from giving his team another chance for a walk-off win. Haynes now 16 pitches, 7 for strikes, 9 for balls. Haynes from the stretch. He'll look at second. The 0-2 to Griffin. Swung on and fouled off. And an 0-2 pitch. That got way too much at the plate. Hale in the first inning, the first batter to Skelton had him down 0-2, and he planted a home run into left. Haynes gets a sign he likes. Again, the 0-2 here to Griffin. On the outside corner, strike 3, and Haynes gets out of it. A foul out, 2 walks, and 2 Ks. Skeeters with another chance to walk it off when we get back. Bottom of the 10th, we're tied at 2.
Submarine-style right-hander Chris Hayes on the pitch here in the bottom of the 10th inning. So Hayes comes out of the Bees bullpen, making his 5th appearance. He's given up 6 runs in 5 1/3 innings. ERA in double figures. You'll look at Barfield to start the 10th.
So it'll be Barfield, Travis Scott, Chris Nelson here against Hayes. We go from Mark Haynes to Chris Hayes here for the Bees. Hayes went to Northwestern University, was never drafted. He is 34 years old. Righty-righty matchup here. First pitch by the side-winding Hayes is a strike, 0-1 the count.
Barfield had enough time to not want to swing, think about swing, and then decide not to swing.
Swing twice. The 0-1 here by Haynes. This one a sweeping slider low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. I'm going to double check this, but it looks like Hayes is coming of a long retirement. The 1-1. Strike on the outside corner, 1-2. Hayes gets the sign here from Skelton. This one swung and fouled deep down the right side. Yes, this is the first time he has pitched since 2012 this season. He was with the Ducks in 2012, Bridgeport that same year, Southern Maryland in 2010, 2011.
What was he doing with himself?
I don't know. I didn't keep tabs on him. The 1-2. This one low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes here to Barfield. He has a career 29-26 record of 3.20 ERA. And he was not drafted, but ended up getting picked up by your Royals. This one way high and outside of that frisbee-like slider is going a little haywire. Now it runs the count full 3-2. Guess he just missed it. Payoff pitch to Barfield. Swung and fouled straight back. Man, did Barfield show some patience there and wait on that ball.
It looked like he rolled an ankle again on that healthy swing. The way these teams have hit with runners on base, the difficulty at times getting men on base, you might just want to elevate and celebrate and hit one out of here to win this game.
I like that. Did you coin that?
I think I will. I'll make a t-shirt out of that.
Elevate and celebrate. Payoff pitch, swung and hit to short. McGuigan has it. He'll throw it to first low. By grabbing it is the first baseman Rosa. And there's out number 1.
I don't think Jeremy's at 100%.
I don't either. Well, in steps Travis Scott with no wind. A little wind blowing in slightly from right center. He's got a chance for a home run and a walk-off dinger. He has singled, he has walked, had a sac bunt, scored a run and grounded out. First pitch from the right-hander to the left-hander hitting Scott. This one swung on, popped up left side. That'll make the seats. Tied at 2-2 here in the bottom of the 10th inning. Looks like Hayes was recently picked up. He's not even in the Bees program. No balls and 2 strikes. Now the count here on Scott. Hayes born in Chicago, Illinois. Oh-2 coming here to Scott. A pitch by Hayes is way outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Hayes now makes his home right there in Connecticut at Cronwell. This one misses. 2-2 on Scott. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, none on. Bottom of the 10th. We are tied at 2. We have been since the 5th. Scott steps back in. Second baseman. And deep for the Bees in Baca. This one grounded to the right of Baca, who was shading a little too far. Now the Skeeters have the winning run down at first. 1 on and 1 out here for Chris Nelson. Nelson has singled, grounded out twice, and flied out. He's 1 for 4. Hayes was a closer at one point in his career. At back-to-back seasons of 11 and 12 saves in 2007 with Burlington in the Midwest League and then the Texas League with Northwest Arkansas. Burlington was the Bees, weren't they?
Yes.
This one high and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Yep, the Burlington Bees. So 1 bee to another hive. Northwest Arkansas Naturals. The 1-0. Strike on the outside corner. 1-1. And there's not a lot of difference in speed between his slider and his fastball. It's hard to tell.
Much more that horizontal break.
This one swung and fouled off to the right side. Nelson waited nicely on that. 1-2 the count on Chris. 1 on, 1 out. Number 1-1 at the plate. And Chris Nelson. Gotta throw your timing off after seeing regular fastballs for 9 innings.
Balk.
Yeah. And Travis Scott will go down to first. I don't think he stopped in his windup. I think that's what they're saying here.
Well, that's a big break because not only does that put the potential winning run in scoring position, and I've been surprised Gary hasn't run for Travis, but it also was a pretty good-looking pitch. It negates the strike.
The problem with running for Travis Scott is that Derek Miller would be the only guy you could put there. You'd have to really jostle around your infield and outfield, because Miller would have to go into center. I suppose you could put him in at first. Derek stands in at 6-1. The 1-2 coming here to Nelson. This one low and away, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2-2 your score here. Runner down at second, Travis Scott with 1 away in the bottom of the 10th. Scott scores, this one's over. The 2-2. Misses outside, 3-2. Nelson waited and waited on that pitch. Big pitch here. Payoff pitch coming here to Nelson. The 3-2 here by Hayes. Swung and hit to the right side. Little number with some English. Backhanded by Rosa. He'll step on first. And that one almost took a bounce away from him. And now the winning run is 90 feet away. Andy Wilkins with a chance to be a hero here. Wilkins has flied to center, struck out, walked, and grounded out.
They're going to put him on. I think this is the wise move. You want him to go right on right.
Second time today they've intentionally walked him. Joe Benson now with a chance to be a hero here. Benson has hit into a fielder's choice, struck out, flied out, and grounded out to short last time up. Gutsy with a suicide squeak with 2 outs big.
I have no idea what Wilkins' speed is, but they're not holding him.
But more
Now they will.
importantly,
They'll change that.
Benson with a ton of speed. You lay it on a squeeze, you're probably not going to get the guy at second. First pitch here is a strike on the inside corner. No balls and 1 strike to count. Benson 214, no home runs and 4 RBIs. The 0-1. Swung and hit up the middle. Will it get through? A dive and no play. Scoring here for the winning run is Travis Scott. Sugarland with a walk-off win. They win 3-2. Vodka couldn't get out of his mitt, and the Skeeters walk it off here in the 10th. Final numbers look like this. 3 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Skeeters. 2 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error for the Bees.
And Haynes is your winner and Hayes is your loser, just to keep
We're going to take a break here. We will come back. We'll have our player of the game. We'll have the final numbers. Preview tomorrow's Game 3 matchup. All that more. We return on the Skeeters post-game show in a moment.
3:19.
down on the field. He's got a little bit of details of what is on store for you. Sonny, my man, take it away.
All right, thanks, Eddie. Down here, front of the long ball. Got the front for you guys right here. Blue hoop right here in the front. Texas Roadhouse, 2 winners tonight. Yellow hoop over here, we have Texas Bakersfield. 2 winners, first 2 winners win. And of course, Skeeters tickets. Everybody's a winner together there. On the third base side, we got so on the count of 3, you guys are gonna launch them. 1, 2.
We were singing soprano. Skeeters win this one in walk-off fashion, 3-2, and now have taken the first 2 games of this 6-game series. Let's take a look at the final numbers here. Final numbers look like this: 3 runs, 10 hits, and no errors for Sugarland. 2 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error for the Bees. And Brett, you have that time of the game.
3 hours, 19 minutes.
In front of 6,040 fans here at Constellation Field. The winner is Mark Haynes. He is 1-0. The loser is Chris Hayes, who is 0-2. Let's tell you how this one happened. The highlights, there's not a ton of them, but they're good. Well, it was the very first batter of the game against Jake Hale and James Skelton, who would get the Bees off to a quick buzz. So it was 1-0. The Skeeters would get it back in the second. A leadoff hit by Travis Scott. Then Chris Nelson with the single. A fly out to center by Andy Wilkins. A fielder's choice by Benson. Up came Anthony Jansanti. Well, the Skeeters would give it right back in the third after Hale struck out the first 2 batters in the third. Michael Kraus would step to the plate. A 2-1 lead. It would go into the 5th. Anthony Jansanti again. He would lead off with a double. And Albert Cordero, in his first game at the plate after coming in as a defensive replacement last night, would get the second run home of the game for the Skeeters.